5 could easily find themselves in a Premier League team. We are just waiting for the sound of referee Tony Harrington's whistle, who is looking over towards the touchline here to make sure we're ready to go. I assume that's to ensure the TV coverage is with us, and off we go. Portsmouth against Arsenal as we continue this bumper weekend of FA Cup third round football on 5 Live from the BBC, and I'll give you the two teams in just a moment. But Portsmouth going from left to right, first ball into the box from Swanson, and it comes all the way through. Chaplin will give chase on this right hand side, and Lewis Skelly sees it out for a throw. So Portsmouth in the blue shirts, the white shorts and the red socks going towards the Milton end to our right hand side here at Fratton Park, with Joe Bursick in goal, Terry Devlin, Connor Shocknessy, Regan Paul and Zach Swanson as their 4 defenders, Luke Leroux and Andre Dezelle in midfield, and then Adrian Segacic, Connor Chaplin and Harvey Blair supporting the returning Colby Bishop, who missed the Portsmouth 5-0 defeat against Bristol City on New Year's Day. And Portsmouth have got a second consecutive throw deep inside Arsenal's half on this right-hand side. Devlin takes it off the head of Bishop and away from that Arsenal backline up towards the halfway line, where Andre Dezelle, the Portsmouth fielder, sits down Gabriel Jesus, and then there's a high ball forward from Shocknessy to Devlin on the right. This is very positive from Portsmouth in these first few minutes. They've got Arsenal honest here. Devlin's delivery, and out comes Kepa, and he's now got his hands on that orange ball. The Arsenal goalkeeper. We're going to Chelsea-West Ham in the Women's Super League. Charlotte Richardson.
Full-time Chelsea 5, West Ham 0. The visitors a goal down after 60 seconds set the tone. Uendo deflecting into her own net. Lauren James, Alyssa Thompson and Sandy Baltimore adding to the tally before the break. Baltimore's second half penalty wrapping up a convincing victory. Chelsea 5, West Ham 0.
And Manchester City winners against Everton, as you were hearing during that other lunchtime game. Arsenal played yesterday. They drew 0-0 with Manchester United. 0-0 here. Just over a minute played. The Arsenal team, Kepa in goal, White, Norgard, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly, Waneri, Moreno, Eza, Madueke, Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Mark Schwarzer, 10 changes, but it's 10 changes that still have Arsenal looking very healthy indeed.
Oh, they look very strong, don't they? I mean, that's what it's all about. Mikel Arteta, when he first went to Arsenal, was about creating depth, being competitive in all levels, all competitions, and that's where Arsenal are right now. They've got really two 11s that could play week in, week out in the Premier League.
Portsmouth win it back again in Arsenal's half on that left. Harvey Blair, edge of the penalty area. The shot was from Chaplin, save, and it's in from Bishop. What a start by Portsmouth! They've scored against the Premier League champions. Just a couple of minutes in, Kepa made the save, but Colby Bishop was there, right-footed finish, high into the net. Another FA Cup scoreline, and what a scoreline for you! Portsmouth 1, the Premier League leaders Arsenal 0, and there are Portsmouth fans all around me with their hands on their heads. They cannot believe this scoreline.
An unbelievable start to the game from Portsmouth. They were on the front foot right from their kick-off. They didn't care who they're playing against. They're at home. They wanted to make a point, and they've got off to the perfect start. And it's a really good move from Portsmouth. The shot on goal initially, I would have to question whether Kepa should have done better with the ball, whether he should have caught it. His parry out into the danger zone was a poor one. It went straight to Bishop, and Bishop made absolutely no mistake. What is he, 5 yards out? And he rifles it, side foots it into the roof of the net, and Portsmouth are in dreamland.
That goal from Colby Bishop has arrived 3 minutes into this FA Cup tie, and it is Colby Bishop's first Portsmouth goal since August the 23rd. But here's Jesus down the other end, inside Portsmouth box, and the leg from Shocknessy getting it away, and Portsmouth clear it up to the halfway line. Bishop can't hang on to it, and Arsenal have it back with Gabriel, and he goes all the way back to Kepa. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 0, and those who saw Macclesfield against Crystal Palace or listened to the excellent coverage on 5 Live of that yesterday, who were coming to this game today of a blue persuasion, well, that would have given them a bit of hope, and the hope's been amplified.
It certainly has, and I mean, we said it before the game, anything is possible. It is the FA Cup. If you don't approach the game properly, if you are slightly off it, you're thinking this is a foregone conclusion, then you can be punished. Portsmouth have started really, really well, just positive. They've been on the front foot, they've put pressure on the ball, they've won the ball high out, they've created a shot, one chance, Ball falls down to Bishop, and he makes no mistake from 5 yards out. Simple tap-in the end. He probably would have had an easier finish to put away against a team like Arsenal, but it's a fantastic start by Portsmouth.
Here is Norgard, the Arsenal man who was playing his 11th Arsenal game today. He's won all 10 prior to this afternoon as the rain is driving across the surface here at Fratton Park, just adding to the extra FA Cup elements and a story already brewing.
It's exactly what you want as a home team. You're a team obviously a lower division, you're coming up against the Premier League leaders. Everybody is saying that you're going to lose this game. There's no chance. Arsenal are too strong, talking about how good the side they've got out there. Yes, it's only very early in this game, but it is the perfect start.
Here is Madueke running for the first time with purpose down the right wing, stopped by Zach Swanson, who's a former Arsenal youth player. Zach Swanson was with the club from a 6-year-old until his move to Pompey a few years ago. Now Lewis Skelly, 15 yards outside Portsmouth's box, gives it to Martinelli. Martinelli trying to go around the outside of Devlin. Left-footed crossing, it came off a Portsmouth head, and Devlin, unsure whether he was going to touch that or not, decides to leave it, the Portsmouth defender, and that was a bad call from him because it's an Arsenal corner in front of the Fratton end.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite aware of where Martinelli is. I think he's a bit afraid because when he turns, he's a bit blindsided, isn't he? And if he just turns and swings and tries to clear it, how often do we see it? The attacker then sneaks in behind him and he brings him down into penalty. So I just think he lost sight of Martinelli.
So an Arsenal corner, 1-0 down at Championship side Portsmouth, who are 21st in the second tier of English football, just a point above the relegation zone, Pompey. They've had some very bleak days here in recent weeks. What a lift for John Messino, the Portsmouth manager, on what is his 150th game in charge of the club today. And Mikel Arteta, who stood about 6-10 yards perhaps to his right-hand side, arms folded, the Arsenal head coach now turning and having discussion with his backroom staff. And there's still a delay on this corner here with the referee, Mark Schwarzer, now talking to Portsmouth and Arsenal players.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a medical emergency. I'm not quite sure. There was some discussion with some fans as well. No, it seems to be okay, they're playing on.
Okay, we hope that isn't the case. It's a corner to Arsenal, they're trailing 1-0. In it comes from Eza towards the near post, the flick on, Bursic can't get there, and the ball is forced in eventually. Arsenal immediately level. Well, that is the sort of response that a team of Arsenal's quality can bring, and Christian Norgard, who was practically 2 yards out when he forced the ball over the line, he got the final touch. It's his first Arsenal goal, and we're back to 1-1, level again.
Yeah, Arsenal have hit back straight away, haven't they? From their famous set plays, a corner whipped into that near post area. It was a melee of players. It just bobbled here, there and everywhere, ricocheted off players, and I think Norgard is the one that gets the final touch for Arsenal. Yeah, he's the one that taps in. I'm not even sure if it's off Norgard or if it's even possibly an own goal. We're watching again on the replay. It is cleared initially off the line. Yeah, I think that's an own goal. Norgard's the closest.
Yeah, Regan Paul, Luke LaRue, both on the line for Portsmouth. Norgard was present, but it was such a flurry of bodies in there. It was impossible to see who got the touch, but it is an Arsenal goal as we welcome listeners from the BBC World Service here to us on 5 Live with the scoreline Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 1 in the third round of the FA Cup. Colby Bishop with the goal for Portsmouth after just 3 minutes, but an Arsenal equaliser which for now at least has gone down as a Norgard goal after 8 minutes. And Arsenal will come again as the ball is swept from Ben White out to the right-hand side for Madueke. A couple of step-overs in the Pompey box. He's got to the byline, he's pulled it back, and Bursic, the goalkeeper, has got his hands on it at the near post.
Yeah, Madueke does well down the right-hand side. Just runs out a bit of space, doesn't he? And as he gets past the defender, he tries to whip it across the face of the goal and just gets a kind of a bit of a miss hit, and the goalkeeper's easily able to collect it.
Colby Bishop penalised as that long ball comes forward from Bursic, the goalkeeper, bumping into Norgard. So an Arsenal free kick, 1-1. This Arsenal team had won 5 Premier League games in a row before their 0-0 draw with Liverpool on Thursday. Not been beaten since that defeat on December the 6th at Aston Villa. But interestingly, haven't made it beyond the third round of the FA Cup in the last couple of seasons. Manchester United beat them 12 months ago. And a year before that, it was Liverpool who saw them off at this stage.
Yeah, tough games, aren't they? I mean, there were tough games for them in the early stages. And again, I think this is a very different Arsenal side to the one of those even a couple of seasons ago. Today, obviously, sluggish start. Portsmouth capitalised. Now they're back in the game, and this is where it's about now trying to keep your composure for Portsmouth. Don't panic. You know, they are exactly where they were when they started the game. And for Arsenal, it's them trying to get back in this game, making sure that they now start to control the pace of it.
Leroux and Jesus grappling in the centre circle just inside the Portsmouth half, and it is the Portsmouth midfielder Andre Dezelle actually who's been penalised there for the foul on Jesus. Dezelle might be a name you recognise, given that his dad Jason, of course, had a number of years in the Premier League, played in 4 North London derbies actually, Jason Dezelle, during his time with Tottenham Hotspur. And we are being told now that rather than a Norgard own goal, it has officially gone down as an Andre Dezelle own goal. So that's how Arsenal's equaliser has come about, through Dezelle's touch on the line as Chaplin comes in for a challenge on the edge of Pompey's penalty area, and Bishop, the Portsmouth goal scorer, heads it away, and it comes back in the opposite direction, and then Swanson does the same. And Blair's got it. Harvey Blair, former Liverpool youth player, on the left side for Pompey, 10 yards inside Arsenal's half. He's won a free kick at a raucous Fratton Park.
Oh, it's a great atmosphere, isn't it? The FA Cup often brings you that kind of atmosphere. Obviously, 2 teams from different divisions. It is the David and Goliath sort of scenario. And for Portsmouth, they are at the moment holding their own, and they've obviously started the ball rolling by scoring the opening goal. Arsenal have hit back, but for Portsmouth, they're just going to keep going. They've got nothing to lose. They've got really everything against them.
Bishop's header is looping towards goal, and Kepa, who was backtracking the Arsenal goalkeeper back to his goal line, plucks it out of the sky. Bishop's header came in from the very edge of the penalty area after that free kick from Chaplin was driven at him there.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for Bishop, wasn't it? I mean, he's a long way out. He tries to loop the header back in.
Ben White bouncing forward, but the offside flag is up against him, with a couple of Arsenal teammates waiting in the middle for any potential pass from Ben White, but the offside flag is up. 1-1 the scoreline. We've played 12 minutes of this FA Cup third round game. Already today, Leeds United winners at Derby County, and there are many more getting underway at 2:30. We'll keep you updated with everything that happens in those matches at West Ham against QPR, Norwich Walsall, Sheffield United Mansfield, Swansea West Brom and Hull Blackburn. They are all 2:30 kickoffs, and at 4:30 Manchester United against Brighton, as Lewis Skelly in the left back position just takes his eye off the ball as that was coming out of the sky. A loose header. Segacic goes and applies the pressure. The Australian Adrian Segacic, and he pushes Lewis Skelly, and it's an Arsenal free kick.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of an inexperience there. Just needs to hold them. He doesn't need to then foul him to win the ball. Lewis Skelly's got his back to play. He's going nowhere. Just got to try and shimmy him out, try and win the ball high up on the pitch.
And Arsenal have taken that free kick. They've gone back to Kepa, and Colby Bishop has gone thundering towards the Arsenal goalkeeper to put him under pressure and deflect the ball away. And now Kepa and Gabriel are having a very frank conversation, the 2 Arsenal players alongside each other.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're the second goalkeeper. You come into the side. You know, for Gabriel, he's obviously used to playing with David Raya the whole time. He's exceptional with his feet. He wants the ball back. Gabriel, it's not the best of balls to Kepa, but he wants Kepa to play it first time back to him. Kepa holds onto it, tries to look to clear it, and that's where the block comes in from Bishop, and that's where the discussion then ensues afterwards. And I think in the end, it's all okay and all sorted out.
Arsenal striding forward again down the right-hand side, though. Jesus' attempted through ball for Madueke is cut out, and Portsmouth with a bit of tenacity win it back in midfield again, and the Fratton Park home supporters certainly appreciate that. There was a game in the Scottish Premiership that got underway at 2 o'clock, just like this one here between Pompey and Arsenal. That's Dundee against the leaders Hearts, and Kenny Crawford is there.
Yeah, 13 minutes gone, it's still Dundee 0, Hearts 0, and the best chance went to the host, Billy Cometio, the French defender, with a header saved by Alex Schwolow. Hearts 0-0 against Dundee at Dens Park.
Hearts beginning the day 3 points clear at the top of the table with a game in hand, and Aberdeen against Rangers to come from 4:30. What do you make of the first quarter of an hour, Mark Schwarzer?
Well, it's hectic. What you'd expect from an FA Cup fixture, a lower level team at home, really just trying to disrupt Arsenal. That's what they're going to do for the rest of this evening.
Swanson's on a big run from left back. He's into the penalty area. Chaplin's got it. Now out to the left-hand side for Harvey Blair. 1-1 the scoreline between Portsmouth and Arsenal. Pompey are just looking to see if there's an opportunity to get the ball into the box, and instead they are working it from left now out towards this right-hand side for Regan Paul, the Welshman, on towards Segicic, and the overlap being offered by Devlin, who gets away from Lewis Skelly, drives it just behind Colby Bishop, who couldn't make any connections with it, and Arsenal sweep it clear.
Yeah, no, look, Portsmouth are doing really well in these opening minutes. I tell you, they have just got to move the ball. That's what the frustration is from the fans. Get the ball early in the box. Arsenal at the moment just seem to be a little bit disorganised.
Here's Harvey Blair in the box, right-footed shot, Kepa with the save, down to his left-hand side, pushes it away, and I think it might have hit Bishop on its way through too, and the decision is goal kick Arsenal.
I tell you what, again, that is very close. I think the linesman has given offside. I think Bishop may have just gone a little bit in the offside. It was a decent shot, good save from Kepa. His parry is not a bad parry. The fact is that Bishop is so close to him in an offside position. That's why it hits him. Otherwise, it's a good save.
It's worth noting this Portsmouth team are missing 9 first-team squad members right now because of a variety of different injuries, including their 2 main attacking players as well, which is Callum Lang and Josh Murphy, of course, the twin of the Newcastle forward Jacob Murphy, who has been a real presence in this Portsmouth team for a couple of seasons now, as Gabriel, who is certainly feeling the presence himself of Colby Bishop, the Portsmouth forward, in these first 17 minutes. He clears it upfield, and Arsenal have got a throw near left-hand side, 1-1, 10 yards inside Portsmouth's half.
It's a good battle, isn't it? Colby Bishop and Gabriel both like to be physical. We've seen that already in these opening 15 minutes or so. There is a physical battle between the two of them. Bishop's not afraid to throw himself into a challenge, nor is Gabriel, as we all know. So that's going to be intriguing how that pans out for the rest of the afternoon.
Martinelli with the touch, and then the ball escapes him. Connor Chaplin steps across his path, and it is a Portsmouth free kick, and Gabriel Martinelli with Chaplin on the floor comes over, and he doesn't push him off the pitch, don't worry. He gives him a little tap on the back and says, get yourself up, buddy. There, I should probably point out that Gabriel Martinelli did latterly offer an apology to Conor Bradley following that incident on Thursday night at the Emirates Stadium.
Well, no, there's no doubt. Had he have known right from the off that it was a serious injury, he wouldn't have done what he did. Of course, he's admitted that. That is the way it is. Unfortunately, we know the game at times is very frustrating with people diving around and rolling around.
Long from Bursick towards Bishop, who won the nod down, and the ball is back in the hands of Kepa, the Arsenal goalkeeper. Yes, Portsmouth have got so many injuries at the moment that if Gabriel Martinelli wanted to try and haul them all off the pitch in one go, he'd be pretty shattered by the end of his work.
He would be. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you look at Portsmouth, they lost last game away at Bristol City 5-0. Now they're against the leading team in the Premier League in Arsenal, who are doing so well so far. And at the moment, of course, it's only very early, but holding their own and really putting pressure on Arsenal.
So trying to play their way out on the edge of the penalty area with Marino, who's gone back to Kepa, who slips slightly as he distributes that ball to the right-hand side, but he's got it out there towards Ben White, the Arsenal number 4, and this is much more slick now from the Gunners as they progress from the right out towards the left-hand side, but then the pass too far ahead of Miles Lewis-Skelly from Ethan Waneri, and it's a Portsmouth throw in front of the dugout where the Portsmouth substitutes are sat here at this antiquated old stadium, Fratton Park, that was built right at the end of the 1800s.
I do love the old stadiums, I really do. There's that tradition that is involved with it, the feeling, the atmosphere. It is always a pleasure to be at stadiums like this. And I'll tell you what, the pitch, the grass is really short. It's that wintry kind of roughness, a bit furry. It's hard, it's slippery because it's raining. So any pass that's hit with some pace and it's not quite on the mark, it's going to be very difficult to control. We just saw that when Waneri trying to play Lewis Skelly down the left-hand side, slightly overhits it in front of Lewis Skelly. He has no chance of getting on the end of it.
1-1 between Portsmouth and Arsenal in the FA Cup, up to the 20-minute mark, and here is Eza Back in field to this left-hand side for Lewis Skelly, and now Martinelli, who's been given no time on the ball at all by Terry Devlin, Portsmouth's Northern Ireland international right-back. He was up behind Martinelli there and said, yes, I'm here, and this is an FA Cup game and you're not having a moment with me.
Well, that's what they're going to have to do more of, and make sure they do that for the entirety of this game, really. Put pressure on the Arsenal players. Don't allow them any real freedom, any space to run into. Put the pressure on as much as you can.
Ethan Nwaneri in midfield for Arsenal. First FA Cup experience for the teenager today, as Shaughnessy then goes in for a big challenge with Nwaneri, and the touch comes off the Arsenal youngster, and it's out for a Portsmouth throw on the left. 1-1, Mark Schwarzer.
It's a perfectly timed challenge, isn't it? Because if he gets that wrong, that is a straight yellow card very quickly. It's just one of those ones where he dives in, and the timing was absolutely perfect.
And the rain is still continuing to fall here. Really is sweeping in, as it has been for a couple of hours, and the wind is steadily increasing around these parts too. We are right down on the south coast. The sea is probably only about a mile or so walk from Fratton Park, depending on which direction you want to walk towards water. As Bursic, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, is not their regular number one. Nicholas Schmidt, the Austrian, is normally in the sticks. He's not in the Portsmouth goal today. Bursic playing for the first time in 2 months in all yellow. Over towards our left-hand side. Portsmouth going from left to right as Bursic sends it high into the right channel. Lewis Skelly wins the header. Forward again by Chaplin. He's got too much on the pass, and it runs all the way through to Kepa.
Yeah, if you know where we're sitting at the back of the stand, and you don't really get very much height on the pitch. So we literally only see the bottom like quarter of the stadium across the other side of the pitch. So any ball that goes above us, you can't see, but you can see the rain coming in at all angles and the wind swirling. So it's going to be one of those games where they're either keep the ball on the pitch, certainly Arsenal want to keep it down low and get the ball moving as quickly as possible. For Portsmouth, every now and then you want to lob that ball into the half of Arsenal, lob it into that 18-yard box, put them under pressure, see how they deal with it.
Yeah, we're right at the back of the south stand at Fratton Park, and if you know your geography of this stadium, or perhaps you've been here as an away supporter before, you've got the Milton end over towards our right hand side, which is probably only about 25 rows deep. These days it has got a roof on it, but you might have come here before when it didn't have one. I imagine you played here when it didn't have one. And then over towards our left, the far bigger Fratton end, which is famed for its noise, where Joe Bursic, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, is currently defending in the first half.
Yeah, and it's always been a great atmosphere, always a difficult place to come and play football, and Arsenal finding it out right now. They know they're in for a game. Of course, there's still a lot of football to be played. Yes, they may go on and win this comfortably, but Portsmouth are doing a really good job of it so far in containing them and also putting pressure on the ball.
And Arsenal with the ball at the moment, just inside the middle portion of their own half, in the red shirts with the white sleeves, the white shorts and socks. Great challenge on the halfway line, gets Pompey moving. Segacic, edge of the area, left-footed shot. Gabriel went down on one knee, and I think it probably ended up hitting the chest of Gabriel to make the block and to get the ball back for Arsenal again. And then they transition quickly up to the halfway line for Eza. Eza slips Jesus into the box. Regan Paul stands him up, hits Paul and trickles through to Bursic, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, who was sliding in.
Yeah, Regan Paul does really well because he doesn't dive in, of course. He's just waiting for that opportunity. He either wants to try and drop the shoulder, beat you, create a bit of space, get a shot on goal towards that far post area, or he's waiting for the slightest of touches to go down like most strikers do these days. Instead, Paul does really well, just holds his ground. In the end, the ball runs too far away from Jesus, and the goalkeeper comes out really quickly, Bursic, and cleans it up.
Moving towards the 25-minute mark, 1-1 the scoreline. Bishop for Pompey, 3 minutes in. The equaliser's gone down as an Andre Dizelle own goal, with an Arsenal corner causing a bit of panic inside the Pompey 6-yard box. And if you are just joining us here on 5 Live from the BBC, the Arsenal team has 10 changes from that Liverpool 0-0 draw. Here's Madueke in the box on an angle, right-hand side. Was there a little touch on the ball? I think there was, from the sliding Portsmouth defender, which could have been Zach Swanson, I think, who lunged with his right boot and just managed to scrape a little bit of the ball, didn't he? Had to go through Madueke to get it. It's a corner.
I think he gets very, very lucky, doesn't he? Yeah, he gets the slides and touches. Zach Swanson does enough, just enough, to put off Madueke and get the touch on the ball. Yes, it is a corner, and this is where they're going to be switched on. We know the threat that Arsenal possess from corners. They scored their opening goal and this is their challenge now for Portsmouth. How do they deal with the next one?
So 1-1, and Arsenal, as Mark has alluded to, so good from set pieces, swirling in towards the near post. There's another Arsenal goal. Martinelli guiding it in with his head, and he was all on his own at the near post, and he just flicks it across goal into the bottom corner. Arsenal have scored from 2 set pieces this afternoon, and once more they show what a weapon that is for this Gunners team, and they've come from behind to lead Arsenal. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2.
Yeah, it's a really well worked free or corner set play. Arsenal overload the far post, and it's just the movement. It's the causing confusion, the bodies that move from one end of the pitch to the other, or one side of the goal to the other. It just causes utter chaos, and Portsmouth are just unable to adapt, to shift. There's players. Martinelli makes the run to the near post area. He's the one that is first to the ball. That's why he scores that goal. Portsmouth there will be kicking themselves because the defending of that corner was really poor. You can't allow someone to get in front of you and get the first touch on that ball from the corner.
Gabriel Martinelli after 25 minutes. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2. So the Portsmouth lead has now well and truly evaporated that they had for a 5-minute period in this game. And Gabriel Martinelli has his first ever FA Cup goal.
It was a good flick on. It really was. Good movement to the near post. Like I said, overload of players. Portsmouth really didn't know how to deal with it. A lot of confusion. Martinelli's the first one to the ball. The delivery's a good ball. He's got pace on it to that near post area. Just gets a really faint touch into that goal area. And then once he does that touch, it's so difficult to defend against. He's got pace, whips it in. And there we go, goal for Arsenal.
Gabriel just getting the ball entangled in his feet. Chaplin's gone and taken it off him, and then having won the ball, he can't play the pass to Segacic, who was all on his own waiting for it in the penalty area.
I mean, I tell you what, Gabriel's so lucky because his first touch is terrible. Second touch is not much better. He gets himself into all sorts of problems. He gets put under a lot of pressure, loses the ball. He dives on the ground as if he's asking for a free kick, which it clearly wasn't. And it was just a poor pass from Portsmouth to try and capitalise on it.
Waneri from midfield all the way up to the edge of Paulson's penalty area, and then eventually stopped by Andre Dazelle, who gives it short to Chaplin, and he returns it to Dazelle again, and then Dazelle comes up towards Harvey Blair with his ball, and Blair is sent tumbling by Mikel Moreno, and it's a free kick to Portsmouth.
I mean, Harvey Blair's been really good for Portsmouth on the left-hand side. Give him the ball. Every time he gets the ball, he causes problems. He beats a player, he wins a free kick just as he just did right now, and he's been very difficult to contain. They need to get the ball to him more often and quicker.
Only ever played once for Liverpool, Harvey Blair. That was in a League Cup game 4.5 years ago. He's on the ball now on the left-hand side. 2/3 of the way inside Arsenal's half. Swanson's cross is blocked. He's out for a Portsmouth throw. So we're going back to Dundee Hearts, Kenny.
27 minutes gone, Dundee 0, Hearts 1, and it's a 12th goal of the season for Portuguese striker Claudio Braga. Lawrence Shanklin, the captain, tried to thread it through for Kizaridis, but it took a deflection into Braga's path, edge of the box, low shot, right-footed, in off the left-hand post. Dundee 0, Hearts 1.
And if that stays as it is, Hearts will be 6 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership table as Portsmouth take that throw short, and they cannot keep it in over on the far left from us. Front of the Milton end, it's gone out of play. It's an Arsenal goal kick. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, they're the moments where Portsmouth need to do better. When they're up in this final third against Arsenal, they're going to be probably fewer and far between as this game goes on. Arsenal have already sort of stepped up and taken control of this game. Portsmouth now just need to make sure they need to regroup. Don't throw it away. Don't try and lose their heads. Keep their calm. Work together, win the ball higher up the pitch, and make the most of that territorial gain.
Mark Schwarzer, who played 51 times in this competition, including 2 FA Cup semi-finals.
Yeah, disappointing on both of those FA Cup semi-finals. One of them was against Arsenal at Old Trafford. We scored an own goal. Very depleted Middlesbrough side at that time. We had a lot of injuries. I think we had illness as well. And a couple of players, I think, made their debut even in that game. So it was a really valid performance, and we got so close and unfortunately didn't make it through. And then the next one was against West Ham. I actually came off after about 30 minutes, broken cheekbone. But yeah.
broken cheekbone distributed by the man who is actually sat directly behind you in the press box here at Fratton Park today, the West Ham forward Dean Ashton.
I'm keeping my head down because I'm just worried about flailing elbows.
You're in the prime position to offer one back today. So it's Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2. We've played half an hour. Portsmouth in possession, just inside the Arsenal half, with the tall frame of Regan Paul, the Welshman, and then Terry Devlin goes back to Bursick, the goalkeeper, who's a long way out of his penalty area as he comes and plays it short for Dazelle, who switches it out again to this right-hand side for Devlin. But Portsmouth at the moment on the halfway line, and again going all the way back to their goalkeeper. Bursick once more. Not beaten Arsenal in any of their last 22 meetings, Portsmouth. The last win against them 68 years ago in an old First Division fixture. Here's Martinelli right through the middle. Bursick's off his line, and Martinelli bends it wide. He's really unlucky, Gabriel Martinelli. A lot of space on the edge of the Portsmouth box with his right foot. Tried to whip it beyond Bursick, and it can't have missed that left-hand post by much.
I think it's Marino's ball. Marino's ball is exceptional. Martinelli's touch is unbelievable. Takes it right in his path. All he needs to do is get it on target. The goalkeeper comes out to close the angle. He's a little bit, in my liking, too far off his line. However, Martinelli just puts too much whip on it and misses the outside of the post, the right side. But big chance for Arsenal.
And now Portsmouth's turn to attack Arsenal, with Swanson coming forward in the box. Right-footed shot is blocked, and it's rolled out to the penalty area on the left-hand side for Harvey Blair. A couple of step-overs from him. He's got a bit of support. Leroux's the one who's going to deliver into the area. Gabriel heads it away all on his own on the edge of the 6-yard box for Arsenal, and the ball's back on the halfway line, and Paul's gone all the way back to goalkeeper Bursick.
I mean, one of the problems they've got, Portsmouth, is when they whip that ball into the 8-yard box, there's really only one target. It's got to be on Bishop. It's got to get to him. If it misses Bishop, there's not many other players that have got the physical presence to make a difference, and that's where they're going to have a bit of a struggle trying to find that opportunity in the box. And if they're not using height, they're going to look get the ball earlier and keep it low.
2-1 Arsenal lead, Portsmouth. Remember, they were trailing by a goal to nil after just 3 minutes, and we are underway in our 2:30 FA Cup game. So as soon as there's a goal in any of those, we will bring it to you here first, as the space is coming for Arsenal again. Here's Jesus with the nod down. Martinelli trying to get onto it, but the flag is up on the far side from us, from Sean Massey Ellis, and it is a Portsmouth free kick on the edge of the penalty area for an offside against Gabriel Jesus.
The tempo is still pretty fierce, isn't it? I mean, we've seen, both sides really want to have a go at it. Arsenal obviously are starting to take, a little bit more control of the game, more possession, and then they obviously have the bigger threat going forward. But for Portsmouth, at the moment, they're still holding their own. They are still trying to put pressure on Arsenal and trying to create chances that maybe they can get themselves back in this game.
John Messino, the Portsmouth head coach, stood on the edge of the technical area at the moment, his hands behind his back, watching on with his black jacket. Played pretty much 500 plus appearances in his very distinguished EFL career as Norgard and Bishop tangle again, the Portsmouth forward and the Arsenal centre-half. Portsmouth wanted a free kick, they didn't get one, and while Chaplin runs away with it then off that left-hand side, the ball has gone out of play, so it is just going to be a Portsmouth throw.
I mean, on face value, it looked like an obvious foul to Bishop. It looked like Norgard was all over him, but it's always interesting. The referees wave play on, and Bishop's reaction was zero. So it was almost like, well, okay, it's 50-50, and possibly him holding on as much as Norgard was. So the referee, I think, in that instance, probably got that one right.
He's a real brute of a centre forward, is Colby Bishop, who wears the number 9, loves playing with his back to goal, loves a fight with a defender, obviously within the parameters of the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see him there, just even off the ball, him and Norgard. There's always, he's looking to feel where he is. He wants contact. There's a bit of shoving and pushing going on. That's just what you expect. He's a real presence, and he's trying to cause some mayhem, trying to make himself available, looking for those 1-2 touches, link up play at the edge of the box, and at the moment he's got to do a lot of running, a lot of chasing to try and put pressure on the ball.
And that's what he's doing now, as he's going to try and close down Kepa, who gives it back to Norgard. That's where the pass initially came from, and then it's up into the midfield for Arsenal, and given to Ibera Eza with the black gloves on. Shifts the ball out to the left-hand side for Martinelli. Martinelli on his right foot, swirling cross into the Pompey box, headed away by Shaughnessy. Back to Martinelli again, and before Lewis Skelly could reach it, he wanted to stay on his feet. Devlin said, that ball's there for me to win. Slides in at Lewis Skelly, and it's going to be a Arsenal throw, or is it? No, it's a Portsmouth throw.
Yeah, I think that from the challenge from Devlin, he gets the final touch comes off Lewis Skelly. Devlin is the one that's fully committed. He throws himself in, diving full stretch, makes the challenge. Lewis Skelly just stands up, almost stops, because I'm not saying he's afraid of the challenge, but he knows the challenge is coming, and obviously the ball comes off him last.
The Portsmouth throw has quickly turned into an Arsenal throw because Devlin has launched it down the line. It's come off Bishop, so it's an Arsenal throw instead, near left-hand side, midway inside Portsmouth's half. All the goals in this game inside the first 25 minutes, 2 in the first 8 minutes. Portsmouth ahead, Arsenal level, and then Gabriel Martinelli at the moment with the goal that divides them after 25 minutes, and we are inside now the final 8 of this rather frantic first half, which now is beginning to settle down.
It is a little bit, but it's been great. It's FA Cup football, love it. Love the intensity, the passion, and Portsmouth certainly started incredibly well. Yes, Arsenal have found their way back in front, and they are definitely, without a doubt, the better side in so many aspects. However, this game's not done with. Portsmouth have so much still to play for, and they're in this game. Obviously only 1 goal in it. They've just got to keep doing more of the same, try and hope that they can create something else in this game.
Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2. Here is Gabriel, the only Arsenal player in the team today who lined up from the start against Liverpool on Thursday in the Premier League for the 14-time FA Cup winners, Arsenal. Nobody has won this competition more than them, and the ball up to the halfway line has seen referee Tony Harrington penalise Jesus, was it?
Yeah, he's a push in the back. Just as, not sure who it was anymore, but one of the Portsmouth players wanted to try and head the ball. He just comes over and gives him the slightest of nudges, and the referee's right on the spot. Good refereeing.
What doesn't help us here, but I mean, it all adds to the flavour of the day. There's a couple of giant steel poles which are obscuring our view slightly, whichever way we look. There's one to our right, there's one to our left. And the one to our right is blocking part of the penalty area here that Portsmouth are attacking. Going from left to right for this free kick. Chaplin sent it in. Shaughnessy lunges towards it, the Portsmouth defender, to try and get his head on it. Then it's bounced off Gabriel's head and eventually away by the left foot of Norgard, upfield towards the halfway line. Devlin on the retreat for Portsmouth, the right back takes it down and then lofts it forward again, and Lewis Skelly cleans up for Arsenal.
Devlin does really well, because initially you feel like he's going to play the ball back to the goalkeeper. Jesus and Martinelli were ready. They were ready to pounce and go through the keeper, but does well, turns and then plays it down the line.
Waneri, lots of room from inside his own half, utilises it, brings it forward, slips it into the box to the right-hand side for Jesus. His layoff and the hit from Madueke, and the block from Regan Paul, who chucked himself in the way of that Noni Madueke effort, and the ball has gone careering out for an Arsenal throw on the right. But before that Arsenal throw is going to be taken, Harvey Blair, the Portsmouth winger, has sat himself down and is asking for some treatment here.
Yeah, possibly bad news for Portsmouth, because I think, like I said, I think he's been one of their better players in this first half of football. Back to that challenge there, Paul, very, very good old style sort of defending, throwing himself at a shot on goal as Madueke comes inside, tucks inside, drops his shoulder, opens up the space, tries to look to aim it and hit it with pace into that far corner. It's Poole's the one that just throws himself at it in a really important block.
This doesn't look good though, does it, for Harvey Blair, who is perched on the edge of the Portsmouth penalty area, sat down, being tended to by a couple of members of medical staff. So we're going to take you over to London Stadium. Big game this for Nuno Espirito Santo today. West Ham against Queen's Park Rangers in the FA Cup. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, 0-0 here between West Ham and QPR. And Nuno Espirito Santo will be delighted to welcome Aaron Wan-Bissaka back to the right-hand side of his defence following his exploits at the African Cup of Nations. West Ham haven't started amazingly. QPR with the first sort of foray forward. Koki Sato round the back. He went down towards the byline, able to fire a ball in towards goal. Mads Hermansen able to collect. And just one eye on the attendance. Watch QPR back by over 9,000 this afternoon. Hordes and hordes of empty white seats across the London Stadium. West Ham 0, QPR 0.
Well, Portsmouth are going to have to make a change. Off goes Harvey Blair, so there's going to be an opportunity for Franco Ume, who is only going to make his second Portsmouth appearance today, having signed from Crystal Palace in the summer, but he's been struggling with injury since he came in, so he is coming on. And we're going to quickly go to Carrow Road for the early stages of Norwich-Walsall. Paul Scott.
10 minutes gone here. It's Norwich 0, Walsall 0. Not really too many clear-cut opportunities for either side. Norwich beginning to stamp their authority on it without really testing Miles Roberts in the Walsall goal. Norwich 0, Walsall 0.
So Arsenal throw then. We're about to get back underway. Disappointed end for Harvey Blair. He's walking in front of the Fratton end now. They are standing and applauding him, and he is applauding back, but you can see the dejection even from here. Mark Schwarzer in the body language of Harvey Blair to be departing this FA Cup game at this stage.
Yeah, no, very disappointing for him because, like I said, he's been bright in this first half, and it just sort of seems to be from nothing that he's gone down with an injury. Obviously, something he's sustained a little bit during this half, and I think it may be his knee.
Keep an eye on that. He has had a few injury problems, Harvey Blair, since his arrival at Pompey. Here's Jesus. He's gone away from Leroux on the halfway line. He's got support coming from the right from White. White's ball across. Martinelli's at the far post. He's hit the post. How's Martinelli missed that? From 3 yards out with his left foot, and Martinelli's hit the base of the post, and the ball has come back to Bursick, the Portsmouth goalkeeper.
It's a brilliant ball across the face of the goal. It's such a dangerous one. I think it's Ben White whips it in. There's a lot of players, gets a touch. The ball, the pace of the ball gets reduced heavily by the touch from the Portsmouth defender, and it bobbles to that far post area. Martinelli just gets caught out. I think it's the pace of the ball that it's slowed down. Martinelli's travelling at real high speed, and he just can't adjust enough. I mean, it is a bad miss.
And Arsenal suddenly looking like they can hurt Portsmouth every time they come forward. Madueke on the right-hand side. 2-1 Arsenal lead. He's in the box, a step over. He's gone down, and the referee says Arsenal penalty. Noddy Madueke hauled over by Swanson, the former Arsenal youth player who got tricked by Madueke, and then in his attempts to make up for that situation has pulled him down, and it's an Arsenal spot kick inside the final 5 minutes of the half.
Yeah, I think it's a blatant penalty. I think for Swanson there, it's just poor. He gets beaten. Madueke does really well, gets around him, and then Swanson just puts his arm up on his shoulder and around his neck area and pulls him back. He's past him. Madueke's past him. He's got nowhere to go other than the byline, and he brings him down. It's just it's poor defending. It's a needless penalty to give away.
So Arsenal leading by 2-1, and now with an opportunity in front of the Fratton end, and there are many behind Joe Bursick, Portsmouth supporters who are on their feet doing that classic thing, waving their arms frantically, trying to put Noddy Madueke off, who stands over the penalty. It is going to be left-footed from Madueke, and he's missed. Bursick went the wrong way, but Madueke's put it wide of the post. That's a really poor penalty from Noddy Madueke, and Arsenal waste another glorious chance to extend their lead here. It's still Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2.
That's a lifeline for Portsmouth. That should be a goal. I mean, Noddy Madueke, what is he doing? Yes, he's got a routine, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and then he just hooks it. He hooks it back across the face of the goal, back to his right-hand side, right across the face of the goal and past the post. What a missed opportunity for Arsenal.
And we just saw a shot of Mikel Arteta, wet jacket, head bowed as Madueke missed that spot kick. Sheffield United against Mansfield, another 2:30 kick-off in the FA Cup. Adam Cottier.
Mansfield of League One lead this tie at Bramall Lane. Louis Reed, a former Sheffield United player, with the goal. A breathtaking right foot shot with the outside of his boot into the bottom corner from 25 yards after a corner had been cleared. League One Mansfield 1-0 ahead against Sheffield United.
That would be quite the story, wouldn't it? It is 18 years since Mansfield last got to the fourth round of the FA Cup. We are waiting patiently in the next few minutes. We're going to find out how long it's going to be added at the end of this first half, but it is Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2 at Fratton Park. Third round FA Cup weekend. Pompey give the ball away on the halfway line. Madueke picks it up. He's got players either side of him. He was trying to force his way through, and then eventually doesn't find the pass for Jesus. and Pompey take it back.
Just one touch too many. Just got to pass the ball. Madueke's in a great position. Jesus is in a great position next to him. All he needs to do is take one touch less, play the ball into his path, and he's through.
Oh, now Franco Ume for Portsmouth got the wrong side of Lewis Skelly in the right wing-back position. Managed to knock him out the way fairly, and Lewis Skelly's had a grab of him. Ume's gone over, and it's a yellow card for the young Arsenal fullback.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely a yellow card. He does well to get past Lewis Skelly there. Lewis Skelly just gets caught out, doesn't he? Wrong side. And the only thing he feels like he can do is pull him back. Arsenal do have numbers back. I mean, it's kind of one of those ones. It's a split-second decision, and he pulls him back and takes the card.
So, into 3 minutes of stoppage time we go. Portsmouth of the Championship, 2-1 down to the Premier League leaders Arsenal. But they've got a free kick here from the right. Segacic takes it. It's come off an Arsenal back. Bishop sends it back into the box, and then eventually it's come off the head of Swanson and through to Kepa, the Arsenal goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. Delivery was a decent ball. It just misses the Portsmouth player. I think in the end it was Bishop who just missed it, and then Arsenal sort of managed to half clear it as the ball pops back in, because he's Swanson there. I think was caught in two minds, didn't really know what to do with it. It was a looping ball. I think he was trying to play it back towards Bishop in the middle, but instead he just ends up doing neither of the two and heads it straight back to the goalkeeper.
Because of that missed penalty for Arsenal, it's just helped with the atmosphere a little bit inside Fratton Park. It's gone up another notch, and there is a sense, Mark, that there is still something in this for Portsmouth, but a clear feeling that if there is going to be, they are probably going to have to be the ones to score next.
Well, I think so too. Yeah, I agree. I mean, of course, when you're only 2-1 down rather than 3-1, which you should be after a penalty is awarded, there is always that sense of hope. Actually, maybe it will be our day. Maybe Arsenal missing a penalty. We're only 2-1 down. We can still get in this game and possibly even knock Arsenal out.
There's been a goal at Carrow Road, Norwich Walsall, Paul Scott.
15 minutes on the clock. The Championship side have the lead. Jack Stacey with a cross from the right. Anis Ben Slimani laid it off. Matej Jurasek with an emphatic finish. Norwich 1, Walsall 0.
Thank you, Paul. Portsmouth throw on the halfway line. Devlin's going to take it on this right-hand side. 90 seconds left of stoppage time. And Portsmouth with Devlin's throw towards Bishop, but Lewis Skelly wins the header in that left-back berth, and then it's picked up by Moreno, who sent it infield to the halfway line for Madueke. He's tripped by Swanson, and it was those two again, just as it was for the awarding of the Arsenal penalty. It's an Arsenal free kick this time on the halfway line.
I mean, it's always a difficult one for Swanson. He's coming up against a player in Madueke who's very quick. He's very good on the ball, of course. Likes to knock and get around places. He's got so much pace. So you've got to be very clever in the way you defend against him. Know when to engage, when not to. Put pressure on the ball. Swanson, that is a lifeline for him. He's given a penalty away. They've missed it. So he can consider himself very, very fortunate that his team's not 3-1 down. Now don't make the same mistake again.
Gabriel with the misplaced pass straight out of play past Norgard for a Portsmouth throw on the left flank, but Arsenal immediately retrieve the ball. Jesus tries to poke it through for Martinelli from the halfway line, stopped by Shaughnessy, and here is Ume on the right hand side in towards the feet of Chaplin. Mikel Moreno comes in for the challenge with him. You might have heard that right down in front of us here in the south stand. Last touch came off Chaplin. Arsenal throw, final few seconds of the half.
Yeah, I'm not sure the referee. I mean, the referee's just gone with a decision. I mean, I don't know if he's in a great position to give it, nor is the linesman.
And Arsenal aren't going to get a chance to take that throw because there is the half-time whistle. But it has been a captivating 45 minutes of FA Cup football. Portsmouth of the Championship taking the lead against Arsenal after just 3 minutes. Kepa's save from Chaplin's shot, but Colby Bishop on the follow-up to score his first goal since late August for Portsmouth. But then Arsenal level after Dizelle got the final touch, the Portsmouth fielder, from an Arsenal corner, and they scored from another set piece, a corner from the opposite side after 25 minutes. Gabriel Martinelli with the header. We've had a missed penalty as well from Nodi Madueke, but at half-time, Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, look, I think it's been a highly entertaining game. Portsmouth have held their own. They've really made a fight of this. Arsenal know they're in a game. Yes, Arsenal could have been 3-1 up by now, should have been 3-1 up by now, and almost cruising, but they're not. And this is the FA Cup, and they've got to make sure they go do it again in the next 45 minutes. Otherwise, they may come unstuck.
Yeah, they've been beaten in the third round the last 2 seasons, Arsenal, but at the moment, not necessarily safely, but there is a passage for Arsenal into the 4th round today.
They are the dominating side, there's no doubt about it. And of course, you'd expect Arsenal to go on and win this game. But they've still got to continue to do the right things on the pitch. There's a couple of little moments there. Players been a little bit selfish, not laying the ball off early enough. Martinelli hitting the post from, 4 yards out, should score as well. I mean, by rights, they should be 4-1 up, Arsenal, and this game should be almost over. But as we know, you don't take your chances, you could rue them.
Yeah, indeed. Half-time at a wet and very wild Fratton Park. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2.
OK, back for the second half. Thank you both. Let's go to Bramall Lane. There's been another goal here. Adam Cottier.
And another exceptional goal. This time the Sheffield United midfielder Gus Harmer, 25 yards out again. Wonderful whipped, powerful shot into the far top corner. It's a magnificent goal, and Sheffield United have equalised after that goal from Reed put Mansfield ahead here. Sheffield United 1, Mansfield of League 1 1.
Switch from the FA Cup to the Scottish Premiership. Big afternoon for Hearts. Celtic won yesterday. They're 1-0 up at Dundee, are the Premiership leaders. But Kenny Crawford?
Yeah, a huge bit of action in the last couple of minutes, because the Dundee forward, Tony Yogani, was put clean through and he was taken out on the edge of the box by Alex Schwolow, the Hearts goalkeeper. The offside flag went up, so it cancelled out any thought of it being a foul, but then it was checked by VR, it wasn't offside, so Alex Schwolow's foul on Tony Yogani then counted and he was red carded, and now Dundee, against 10 men Hearts who lead 1-0, have a free kick right on the edge of the box where that foul happened, and all of a sudden, from looking like they're definitely going to go 6 points clear, Hearts, all of a sudden it's up in the air and they're going to have to play the rest of this game with 10 men. But first of all, they have a free kick to deal with deep into added time in the first half. It's Dundee 0, Hearts 1.
Do you think that's a clear goal scoring opportunity, Ken?
There was another defender in the vicinity. I haven't got a monitor here to see it again. It looked as if he'd kind of rounded the goalkeeper and then was tumbled down.
Yeah, I'm not sure he even rounded him, to be honest. He kind of went sort of at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, so wasn't then running towards goal.
No, he was running sort of level to the 18-yard line, and there was another defender.
Well, at the moment, Craig Gordon, the 43-year-old Craig Gordon, is jogging onto the pitch with the number 1 jersey on his back.
He's done a warm-up.
83 Scotland caps to his name, most likely going to be Steve Clarke's first choice goalkeeper for the World Cup, and we'll see in a little minute, once Dundee sort out who's taking this free kick, whether they can get a leveller.
OK, we'll be back with you shortly then. Let's go to the London Stadium, back to the FA Cup. West Ham at home to Championship QPR. Aaron Paul.
All square in what's being dubbed by some as the Westfield Shopping Centre derby. Mark, half chances either end. Ryan Colley heading wide for QPR. Tati Castellanos, meanwhile, couldn't tuck home a dangerous Jared Bowen cross for the Hammers. Worryingly for Rangers, though, Koki Sato forced off with a knock. Not good for Julien Staffan, with his injury crisis seemingly growing. 0-0.
Let's go to Carrow Road next. Paul Scott.
Midway point of the first half, it's Norwich 1, Walsall 0. The Canaries good value for their lead as well. Macha Jurasek's emphatic 15th minute finish separating the two sides. It could have been 2 as well, but goalkeeper Miles Roberts did well to deny Jovan Makama from close range. Norwich 1, Walsall 0.
Also at 2:30 kickoffs, we have 2 All Championship games. We'll start at Hull. Rob Law.
0-0, 22 minutes in. Hull's injury list continues to mount as well. Darko JB's been forced off early with what looked like a groin problem. That's after Matt Crooks was injured in the warm-up and Casey Palmer stepped in at short notice. Still waiting for the first shot on target. Blackburn looking more likely to score so far. They've had 2 corners but failed to threaten from them. It's Hull 0, Blackburn 0.
What have you got for us, Laura?
0-0, you'll be surprised to hear, Mark. Not the most inspiring FA Cup tie on paper, but both fielding strong sides. Interim head coach James Morrison, he's in the West Brom dugout and tasked with ending a run of 10 away defeats. Swansea pressing high from the off, look really threatening. West Brom one big chance. Daryl Dike, right-footed, edge of the box, fired it high. 22 minutes gone. It's Swansea 0, West Brom 0.
Thank you very much. Craig Gordon was warmed up, Kenny. Good save.
chance, and straight away a really good free kick by Cameron Congreve on loan from Swansea City. He's a big player here for Dundee. Curled low to the bottom right hand corner, and Craig Gordon got down to deny him. It's now half time. Dundee 0, Hearts 1. They were looking totally in control, Hearts, with that 27th minute goal from Claudio Braga. Really lethal low finish in off the post for his 12th of the season, the Portuguese. But this sending off in added time in the first half for Alex Swalov, the German goalkeeper, after a foul on Tony Yogani, which was checked by VAR, means the second half is going to be very interesting indeed. Half time, Dundee 0, Hearts 1.
Aberdeen Rangers gets underway at 4:30 in the Scottish Premiership. Also at 4:30 in the FA Cup, Manchester United against Brighton. Another goal at Norwich. Paul.
I said they were good value for it. Norwich have doubled their advantage in the 25th minute. Anis Ben Slimani did really well to win possession on the edge of the box. He laid it across for Jack Stacey, who saw his effort cleared off the line. Jovan McCarmel was there to hammer home the rebound. Norwich 2, Walsall 0.
In Rugby Union's Champions Cup, Harlequins have beaten Stormers 61-10, and Toulon won a thriller against Munster 27-25. In the Challenge Cup, Montpellier beat Connacht 33-31. Zebra beat Ospreys 23-19. 5-3, here's the latest BBC News.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Iran's president has accused the US and Israel of attempting to cause disorder and chaos by ordering riots in Iran. Masoud Pezeshkian has urged young people to distance themselves from what he called rioters and terrorists following days of protests. Iran has warned it would retaliate if Washington took military action. Greater Manchester Police say 4 people have died in a car crash in Bolton. 5 other people were injured in the collision involving a car and a taxi in the early hours of this morning. Lord Mandelson has refused to apologise to victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein for staying friends with him despite his conviction. The former British ambassador to Washington, who's been giving his first interview since being sacked, did apologise for the system failing those who were abused. And a new traffic light system has been introduced, allowing drivers in England to see how well their local authority is tackling potholes. The Transport Secretary, Heidi Alexander, said it was vital the public had a way of seeing how councils were spending funding aimed at road maintenance.
So, who am I?
Matthew Ellis. You're on your own and you've money to burn.
New series of The Night Manager.
If I get you in, I'm done. It's just you and me.
Starring Tom Hiddleston.
Deception is in our DNA.
You played me. Get to the airport now.
I have to get to him before he gets to me.
The Night Manager.
Make the call.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports.
The FA Cup with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Arsenal 2-1 on Portsmouth, and Noni Madueke missed a penalty. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Let's go to Alexandra Palace next. Opening day of the Masters Snooker, Jamie Broughton.
And we're watching the defending champion Shaun Murphy take on the exciting young Chinese star Wu Yize, who won his first ranking event this season, the International Championship. And it's Yize who's made a fast start to this match. He took the opening 3 frames with a break of 137, the highlight. Murphy then won the 4th to reduce the arrears to 3-1 at the mid-session interval. We're back underway, and it's Yize who's at the table again with a good chance here to go 4-1 up. 6 is the target for victory.
First game of the day in the FA Cup went the way of Leeds. They came from a goal down to beat Derby 3-1. Here's Daniel Farker with Gary Flintoff.
For me, it was nearly a 50-50 game because, of course, you're the favourite as the Premier League side, but we're not too long on Premier League level so far, and also after the back of this run of fixtures, and we rotated a lot, and they had no midweek game, could concentrate on this game. I expected a very, very tough fixture, and I think we needed 20 minutes to adapt to the game, to their intensity and aggressiveness, and once we have accepted this, I think then for minute 20 our quality was shining through. Sadly, we missed too many chances in the first half, and out of their one situation they scored. It's then always difficult, but we kept the nerves, didn't run into any counter-attacks, and I think fully deserved to win this game.
How much easier is it to manage Leeds United when there is a feel-good factor and everyone feels as if things are going in the right direction?
It's never easy, because the next setback is always around the corner. You have such a responsibility to make everyone happy, and there's one poor result or one little goal that you concede, and the whole mood can change, because it's such a great club and passionate club anyhow, but you always have to be aware, and if you feel too comfortable and too safe, it's never a good sign. You always have to be switched on.
But having said that, you are going in the right direction, and it's an away win, but that's eluded you for some considerable weeks now. What can be achieved the rest of this season, or is it purely safety in the Premier League and that is the only aim?
Yes, of course. Our big aim and whole priority is definitely survival in the Premier League. We're on a good path, but we're not there yet. We need to win many more points, and we need to keep going exactly with the type of performance we've shown over the last weeks, and also some really good results. Unlucky not to be there with more points. But of course, this is the main target, and if on the other hand we can also perhaps go on a decent cup run, we would not say no. We try to go for it anyhow, and for that, we're on a good path, and perhaps there's more to come.
Daniel Farker with Gary Flintoff, who then also spoke to John Eustace.
I thought that we showed great endeavour that first half. We were very competitive, is what we've asked for. We made a lot of changes. It's important that we got real vital minutes into a lot of the players that needed it today, and we were very competitive up till they equalised. So I was really pleased with the effort of the group.
You've obviously got players within the group who know the level of the Premier League, but for those who've never played against Premier League players before, how does that help you in terms of coaching moving forward, in terms of getting across to them the level that they need to achieve?
No, I think it's very evident, the level. I think if you look at Leeds' team last year, there's not a lot of changes from that today. So, they won the league last year with a great group of players. A lot of them played against us today as well. So the most important thing for me is that we got vital minutes into the captain of the team. He hasn't played for 11 weeks. Corey Blackett-Taylor, hasn't played for a number of weeks due to injury. Craig Forsyth, Danny Bath. We had a debut for a 19-year-old coming off the bench as well. We gave a debut to a new signing who doesn't really know the group. So we have to have a bit of realism where we are with the game and what we've done. But I'm very proud of the effort of everyone who's on the pitch.
John Eustace with Gary Flintoff. Draw for the fourth round of the FA Cup tomorrow, 6:30. You can hear it during Drive. Manchester City still 6 points clear at the top of the WSL after beating Everton by 2-0. Here's their manager, Andre Yeglert.
You can measure in a team when there's a confidence, because there is no stress. Being in half-time, it's a very calm team. Listen to instructions, communicating, and it's the same thing in the training session in the week, that there is still a lot of smiles and happiness, but when we are doing things, the focus is there to 100%, and I think that's what we need to keep having. It has to be a fantastic feeling to be a player in this club and being in this position, but also having the feeling that we can do more, and we want to do more, and that's what I can feel.
Elsewhere in the Women's Super League, Chelsea remained 6 points behind in second. They beat West Ham 5-0. Aston Villa beat Brighton 2-1. Tottenham have gone into fourth with a 1-0 win over Leicester. Half an hour gone in the other game. Liverpool 0, London City Lionesses 0. One game in WSL 2, half-time there. Bristol City are 2-1 up at Nottingham Forest at the break. A couple of ties already finished in the Women's Scottish Cup. Glasgow City thrashed Queen's Park 6-0. Much tighter for Celtic, who squeaked home 3-2 at Hibs. At 4:30, we'll be at Old Trafford. Plenty of updates from Manchester United against Brighton with Lee Blakeman.
Hello, Mark. I tell you what, walking into the game today, you'd have been forgiven for forgetting that there was actually a match on. Plenty of people around, but the chat amongst everybody who I was listening to was all about who the new interim manager is going to be. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer set to meet United bosses this week, with Michael Carrick having already done so, according to what the BBC has heard over the last few days. Darren Fletcher in charge today for a second time following the 2-2 draw at Burnley on Wednesday. He says he's spoken himself to Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox this week, but there's been, quote, no thoughts or conversations on his own future. So make of that what you will.
He's not out of the running, though, is he?
He's not. And people keep on talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. I think he's going to be a long shot now, but certainly you're looking at those three, the two who I've just mentioned there, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer and Darren Fletcher, Solskjaer set to talk to them this week. Carrick already doing so. On the pitch, I don't know if you've forgotten, there is actually a game on today because all of the preview chat has been about who's going to be in the dugout moving forwards. They want an appointment, don't they, ahead of the Manchester derby next Saturday lunchtime. Today they host a Brighton side who they beat 4-2 here in the Premier League in October. Brighton themselves 1 win and 8 at the moment, but who've progressed from 14 of their last 16 FA Cup third round ties and of course made it to last season's quarter-finals.
Thank you very much, Lee. That's at 4:30 then. Leeds already through today, having beaten Derby by 3-1 in the 2:30 kickoffs. Norwich are 2-0 up at home to Walsall. Sheffield United and Mansfield level at 1-1. The other games are goalless. In the 2 o'clock game, Arsenal are 2-1 up at Portsmouth. And we go back to Mark and Chris.
Mark, thank you very much. The two teams are out on the pitch at this very wet Sunday afternoon at Fratton Park, and immediately we're going to get started, or there's a false start at least. We've heard the referee's whistle, but Berez is not going to start just yet, and now he is getting us underway, and he sends the ball back to Kepa, and up it goes high up into the left channel. So Portsmouth, who led through that Colby Bishop goal after 3 minutes, and then the 2 Arsenal goals, an own goal from Dizelle and the header from Gabriel Martinelli. We've had that missed penalty as well from Nodi Madueke. There doesn't look like changes from either team at the break. So Bursic in goal for Portsmouth, Devlin, Shaughnessy, Poole and Swanson, who gave away the penalty, the 4 defenders, Leroux and Dizelle in midfield, and then Segacic, Chaplin, Franco Ume, who's come on for the injured Harvey Blair, and Portsmouth's goal scorer Colby Bishop. And Arsenal with their 10 changes from Thursday night in the Premier League. Kepa in goal, White, Norgard, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, and Moreno, Waneri, Eza, with Madueke, Martinelli either side of Gabriel Jesus. And Mark Schwarzer, former Premier League goalkeeper, Australia international. This has been a proper cup tie so far.
It has, yeah. First 45 minutes have been really, really good. We can just see now in these opening minutes, Portsmouth player down on the ground. I think it might, is it Zach Swanson?
It's Devlin, is it?
It's Devlin, is it? Yes. Terry Devlin, he's gone down. I think it's just a stud. He's copped a boot and he's up again, he's fine. But yeah, no, look, the first 45 minutes has been really good at entertaining football. Obviously what you'd expect from an FA Cup fixture. Second half has obviously only been underway for a minute or so, and the tempo isn't as ferocious as it was in that first opening minutes of the game. So we'll wait and see. I'm sure it'll pick up.
Yeah, so Arsenal top of the Premier League against Portsmouth 21st in the Championship, and there is not a chance, by the way, if you turned up at Fratton Park today and tried to get your hands on a ticket for this game, that you would have been able to purchase one, because this has been a sellout really from the moment the tickets went on sale. A hotly anticipated cup game on the South Coast.
Yeah, and as players, you know that. As a Portsmouth player, when you're playing at home, you know you've got a massive fixture come up in an FA Cup game. You know that people are going to come and watch it, and you know the demand's going to be big. The attention that you get leading up to the game is always far greater than your normal match day or normal league game fixtures. So they know they've been prepping for this game all week. They'll be disappointed the way they've considered 2 goals from set plays, because that would have been a big part of their preparation, I would think, of how they're going to deal with that set play dangers of Arsenal, and unfortunately it hasn't kind of gone to plan for them.
Ball from Chaplin from the centre of the park inside Arsenal's half, just too far and too quick in terms of being wide of Adrian Segacic, Portsmouth's left-sided attacking player, is out for an Arsenal throw in their right-back spot 3 minutes into the second half. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2. And Ben White is getting the hurry on here from the referee. You might have heard that blow of the whistle to get Ben White to speed up with his throw. He's taking it now. Martinelli over the top for Gabriel Jesus, up against Regan Poole, 20 yards outside the box, tries to then get away from Devlin. Devlin, who's been excellent, wins it and then lifts it up into this left side for Bishop. Bishop with the nod down for Chaplin. And Segacic now just outside the Arsenal penalty area, and Bishop's got it back to Segacic again. Segacic trying to get round the outside of White. White with the challenge, and Portsmouth in front of the Fratton end, going from right to left in this second half, have their first corner of the second half.
Ben White's challenge is timed to perfection, because if it isn't, it's a penalty. He does really well. Segacic gets around the outside of him, but White does enough to recover, and the sliding challenge is excellent.
So Adrian Segicic placing the ball down, the diminutive Portsmouth number 10 with his right arm raised into the air, left-footed corner is hit Shaughnessy, and at the back post there was a chance for Chaplin, and Chaplin's shot was instantly repelled, and that is an escape for Arsenal because Connor Chaplin had a lot of time to get that shot away, and Arsenal now have a free kick up towards the halfway line.
I think it was Ben White again. He was the one at the far post area, makes himself really, really big. Big block. Chaplin has a great chance on the volley. It's a bit high, waits for it to come down. As he does, yeah, it's Ben White that comes across, makes himself really big. He gets I think it's a big foreleg in the way.
Connor Chaplin, who's back at Portsmouth for a second spell at the club. This is where he began his career. He's a local lad, obviously went on and has played in the Premier League with Ipswich. In fact, played in Ipswich's heavy home defeat to Arsenal last season. Still waiting for his first Portsmouth goal since his return. 5 minutes into the second half. The scoreline is Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 2, and Ben White, the Arsenal number 4, making his 13th Arsenal appearance of the season over the free kick, and it's a short one for Arsenal to build. Mark.
Yeah, Arsenal, you can see the way they've started this second half. They just want to take the sting out of the game. They want to slow it down, play it at their tempo, wait for the right opportunity, then try and hit Portsmouth. They don't want Portsmouth to try and get their tails up in any way, shape or form. They've started pretty well, Portsmouth, but they've limited them. Arsenal have limited them to chances.
They've won a free kick, Arsenal, they've taken it quickly. Jesus sent it all the way to the far post, and Martinelli slides it in. He's got his second goal, Gabriel Martinelli, and Arsenal now have clear daylight in this FA Cup third round game. Portsmouth switched off from that very swift Arsenal free kick, moved to Jesus, low ball across the edge of the 6-yard box, Martinelli at the far post to convert, and it's Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 3, 6 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, that all comes about because Lewis Skelly's really quick thinking. He sees the opportunity for Gabriel Jesus down the right-hand side. He plays the free kick really quickly, straight into Jesus. Jesus' ball is exceptional. Across the face of the 6-yard box, and at the far post area, it's Martinelli's the one that dives in, and with the outside of his right foot, as a full stretch, he just knocks it into the far end of the goal, and it's a simple tap-in, but a really good team goal from Arsenal.
You're right, the precision on that Gabriel Jesus pass. He almost couldn't have put it an inch either side for it to have reached Martinelli.
I mean, it was almost nonchalant. The way he plays that ball across the face of the 6-yard box into the danger zone, it's such an difficult ball to deal with. Defenders don't want to get anything on the end of it because they're afraid to put it in their own net. The goalkeeper doesn't know whether to come or not. Not that he can, because it's just in that perfect position. And Martinelli, the timing was perfect. He's got the pace. He gets on the end of it, outside of his right foot, taps it into the goal. But I tell you, like I said, Lewis Skelly's quick thinking, great pass to Jesus, and Jesus' unbelievable pass in the middle of the box.
Sorry, Mark, from kick-off, Portsmouth have immediately won a corner, and Segicic wants to take it quickly. Bishop's at the back post. He was clambering to try and reach it. Colby Bishop, who of course scored that first goal for Portsmouth, the first goal of this game, and it's gone all the way out to the far right-hand side, and Portsmouth have won themselves another set piece. This is a good response from the Championship side.
It is, yeah, it's a big chance from Bishop. Bishop does well because he gets the better of Gabriel. Gabriel goes to ground. I think by the way Gabriel goes to ground, that puts Bishop off, and he's then caught off balance, and he's not able to get a proper header on the ball because he's about 6 yards out, free header.
So Portsmouth 3-1 down, but with another corner, and Segicic with the corner flag next to him, flapping away in the wind at Fratton Park, and the rain that is still coming in at some speed actually across the Fratton Park pitch and surface. I wouldn't want to be in the front few rows of this old Fratton Park stadium. You would be getting absolutely soaked today if you're there. In front of the Fratton end then, those in blue attacking. Segicic with the corner, into the near post. Kepa got a fist to it, reached over his own defender to get there. Kepa punches it away, and Madueke with a lot of speed, progressing forward down the right. Chaplin's sent him sprawling, and it's an Arsenal free kick, and I'm laughing because I've managed to knock my phone into Mark Schwartz's lap, and my phone has got the time on it, and obviously that phone landed right probably where you wouldn't want me to go and retrieve it.
Your reaction was pretty impressive, actually. You were very, very quick, and I for a second there, I just was wondering what was going on. But I tell you what, that was definitely a foul on Madueke. He's beaten the defender, and in the end, all it is coming across and knocking him off the ball. I mean, I know that maybe the ball's not necessarily going to be in play, but it's a clear foul. The referee's spot on with that one.
Ben White, having taken that free kick, as you might be able to hear from the Fratton Park crowd, has found Noni Madueke in an offside position right in front of the assistant referee as well on this near side. So free kick to Portsmouth. Bursic is going to take it, the goalkeeper, but it is Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 3. FA Cup match of the day tonight, by the way, from 10:30 on BBC One. Here is Bishop, and it's cleared away by Arsenal. We're going to Sheffield United against Mansfield in the FA Cup. Adam Cottier.
Mansfield of League One back in front. The same player who scored their first, Lewis Reed, a former Sheffield United player, scoring. It's almost a carbon copy of the first goal. Corner cleared out to him, right foot shot. The only difference, this one gets a deflection and takes it into the goal. Mansfield 2-1 ahead.
So Sheffield United 1, Mansfield 2. No goals between Swansea and West Brom, and West Ham and Queen's Park Rangers, or indeed between Hull and Blackburn. And we've got those 2 for Norwich against Walsall, as Arsenal bring it forward with Ben White, but the referee isn't happy about where that free kick was going to be taken. And indeed there's a yellow card for Luke Leroux. Is that the Portsmouth midfielder for the foul?
Yes, it was, yeah. It's a clear foul. The referee was right on the spot. He just wasn't quick enough to get his card out. He wanted to give him a card, but Arsenal took the free kick really quickly. Ben White was then off, and there was a bit of a coming together with him and another Portsmouth player. The referee was then quick to really make sure that it didn't get any worse.
Luke Leroux, who is a South African international midfielder who Portsmouth signed from the Swedish league in the summer, paid £1 million to sign him from IFK Värnamo. And apologies to fans of IFK Värnamo if I'm not saying their club name correctly. Another free kick Arsenal, 10 yards inside Portsmouth's half, far left-hand side. 3-1 they lead, 2 from Gabriel Martinelli, who prior today had not scored an FA Cup goal before. And they're sending those from the back forward here, Arsenal, for this set piece. 11 minutes into the second half, and set pieces really have been where Arsenal have hurt Portsmouth today. Here's Lewis Skelly from that short free kick, progressing towards the edge of Portsmouth's penalty area on the left-hand side. And now coming back in field is Eza with the bright orange boots on. And then Ben White, who chips it into the box, and the big header from Regan Paul, the Portsmouth centre-back, in there to clear it away.
Yeah, good defending in the end, because there was a lot of Arsenal players in that box, a lot of big men up front, and Regan Paul needed to get on the end of it.
Here's Waneri though, shot blocked by Shocknessy. That was certainly travelling towards the goal of Bursic, and Portsmouth can't keep it with Segicic. White retrieves it on the right wing into the box of Madueke, who's got it again, and then Madueke met by the challenge from Leroux, who got something on the ball, and that must have been a brave challenge from Leroux. Not only is he on a yellow card, but that was certainly one he was fully committed to.
He was, yeah. I don't know if he realised the severity of that, because he gets that slightly wrong. That is a penalty, blatant penalty, like you said, probably a second yellow card for him as well. But I mean, at the moment Portsmouth are desperately struggling to get the ball out of their own box area, and every time they do, they lose possession. Arsenal have seemingly shifted a little bit. They're in a little bit more of a higher gear. They're looking to put a lot more pressure up the pitch and trying to really finish this game off.
3-1 Arsenal here, and the goals are flying in with you, Adam Cottier.
They are. Sheffield United 1, Mansfield 2, a really eye-catching half here. The half-time whistle has gone. Lewis Reed scoring 2 spectacular goals for Mansfield, either side of an equally spectacular one for Gus Harmer for Sheffield United. The home side have made 10 changes. The League One side are ahead at the break in a weekend of few upsets. There might be one here. Sheffield United 1, Mansfield 2 at the break.
And half-time between Swansea and West Brom. Laura Kenyon.
Swansea 0, West Brom 0. Two sides who met in the Championship just 10 days ago. It's Swansea dictating play, creating multiple chances, but haven't taken them. West Brom showing glimpses of threat on the break, so could come back to haunt them. No FA Cup magic in South Wales currently. It's 0-0 at half-time.
And the magic that certainly was here has dissipated at Fratton Park as well. I've just been told there are 20,611 inside the stadium, including 3,000 Arsenal fans who are tightly packed into that Milton end over towards our right-hand side, as Arsenal win a free kick 15 yards outside their own box here, and it's going to be taken by Ben White with the white shorts that are very muddied now with the weather, which is continuing to cause a bit of a problem. Here's Madueke with the ball forward from Mikel Merino can't bring it under control. It went through his legs, but it's picked up by Ethan Nwaneri, who runs into LaRue, and it's an Arsenal throw high up inside Portsmouth's half on the right.
Yeah, again for Arsenal, it's about now managing this game, controlling the pace of it, looking to try and put this game to bed, really out of reach of Portsmouth. Portsmouth at the moment just hanging on a little bit.
White takes it, Jesus has come short to get it. He's got it to Nwaneri, who can't quite bring it under control, and shot and see the Portsmouth centre-half can't stop it going behind, so it's an Arsenal corner.
Yeah, beware, they know what's coming. They know Arsenal have set up so far and really punished them at corners. Got to deal better with the threat.
I think we sort of knew this might happen today because Arsenal brilliant at set pieces, and the big thorn in Portsmouth's side this season has been conceding goals from corners.
Yeah, it has been, and I just looking at the setup, I mean, it's too much worried about the movement of players. Like, players need to just take control of their areas, look to try and get on the ball, get to the ball first. Don't allow.
Madueke with the corner, 3-1 the scoreline. Martinelli was there again, but it's bounced off his head and gone wide this time, but not too dissimilar a situation to which Martinelli scored in the first half.
The only difference with that one was the delivery. The delivery wasn't the same. Martinelli makes the same run, connects the same spot. Just the delivery of the ball isn't as flat as the previous, or the one he scored with. So that's the only one. I mean, he could have easily have had a hat-trick today.
Bishop wins the flick on inside Arsenal's half, the Portsmouth forward, but Segacic isn't able to get it, and Arsenal go all the way back to goalkeeper Kepa, playing for only the 4th time today. The Spaniard, 3-time, of course, an FA Cup runner-up, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Pompey win it on the right with Devlin. Deep ball towards the far post. White unsure of the presence of Segacic, who was behind him, and he pokes it out of play for a Portsmouth corner. 16 minutes played in this second half.
Yeah, Ben White's just got to play that ball out. He doesn't know the threat. He knows that the ball, there's a defender behind him or attacker behind him. He knows he needs to get something on the end of it to just deal with the threat.
Couple of Pompey changes inbounds. I can see Connor Ogilvie and Marlon Pack, and the numbers 3 and 7 very visible down in front of us on the touchline. Portsmouth corner, Segacic with it, left foot towards the far post. Swanson wins the header. Madueke clears it away for Arsenal, and Portsmouth go all the way back to goalkeeper Bersic, and we're going off to Carrow Road, Norwich Walsall. Paul Scott.
Half-time, it is Norwich 2, Walsall 0, the home side in cruise control. Maciej Jurasek and Jovan Makama with the goals. Makama denied twice by goalkeeper Miles Roberts, who also saved from Mateusz Kvistgården. At the other end, Walsall without a shot on goal. Norwich 2, Walsall 0.
That double Portsmouth change is happening now, and we're going to find out how the first half between Hull and Blackburn has been. Rob Law.
0-0, neither goalkeeper with much to do. Casey Palmer has been bright for Hull, but the entire game being played in the middle third. A few full-blooded tackles flying in as well. The home side went close right at the end of the first half. Liam Miller saw his effort well saved. Apart from that, very 0-0 at the break.
So a double Portsmouth change, and it is Luke LaRue and Connor Shocknessy, the centre-half, are the two players that have come off here for Marlon Pack, and Connor Ogilvie, who is making his long-awaited return to the Pompey team today, having picked up a nasty injury in the South Coast derby, that big game for Portsmouth against Southampton, which was all the way back in September, and indeed that will be Portsmouth's next home game. Southampton coming here at the end of January. You think it's lively today? You wait for that one, Mark.
It will be spicy, there's no doubt about that whatsoever.
So that double change for Portsmouth then, as they try and rescue this situation, but it is such a tall order against this magnificent Arsenal team who have made all the changes today, and yet despite the fact they've gone a goal down, have responded with the sort of velocity that we have come to expect from this Arsenal team under Mikel Arteta in the last couple of seasons. Here is Martinelli. No, he's not going to reach that ball down the left for him. Out for a Portsmouth throw.
Yeah, he's offside, isn't he? I mean, I think that should be a free kick. There should be a free kick for offside. Instead, they just get a throw-in for Portsmouth. There's certainly no disadvantage in that regard.
Played Portsmouth 4 times in the FA Cup before. Arsenal most recently here in round 5 in 2020, won by 2-0 that day. Mikel Arteta named 6 players that were 20 years or younger in his starting 11 on that specific evening. Here's Segacic halfway inside Arsenal's half. leaves it for Swanson for Portsmouth. Swanson in the box, right-footed cross which was blocked or at least deflected, spins in the direction of Pack for his first touch, the Portsmouth midfielder. Portsmouth-born Marlon Pack as well. This club means an awful lot to him. And Portsmouth restart from inside their own half with Ogilvie.
Yeah, I think it was another really good defending from Ben White. He's the one that actually put the block in from the shot. It's a typical defender or attacker running.
Well, you were giving a lot of praise to Ben White there, and then Adrian Segacic has popped the ball through the legs of Ben White, ran round the side of him, and White's pushed him over, and it's a Portsmouth free kick.
I don't think he took it too kindly to being nutmegged. Segacic does really well, plays it straight through his legs, like you said, darts around him, and as he's darting past him, Ben White just literally shoves him over.
So here we go. They're calling the Aussie Mozzie round here, by the way, Segacic, because he gets here, there and everywhere.
I can see that, yeah. It's definitely been lively today.
Yeah, and he's the one on the free kick here, Segacic. A few yards in from the touchline, left-hand side, and probably about 10 yards set back from the edge of the penalty area as well. Segacic, left foot, across the edge of that 6-yard box, and Arsenal head on the ball. Might have been Gabriel who manages to guide it away out to the far right-hand side, where Ume picks it up, sends it back in, and a header away that time that certainly was from Gabriel, the Arsenal centre-back.
Yeah, it's a difficult ball to deal with, isn't it? Segacic's ball into the box was excellent. It was a very difficult one. So whoever wins that first header was going to have the advantage, and Arsenal just managed to get enough on it to clear the danger.
Ball in the middle of the pitch with Marlon Pack, 20 minutes into the second half. Portsmouth trailing Arsenal by 3-1, but still offering a semblance of a threat here, as Segacic just ran out of room there under pressure from Nwaneri. Didn't take the ball with him, and Nwaneri slips it up to the halfway line for Eza. Eza through the middle looking for Jesus, and the deflection on the pass. Jesus can't reach it, collides with Regan Paul. Referee happy for everything to carry on.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with Eza. You know, he's such a good player, and this is a game where it's sort of perfectly set up for him to really dominate, and he hasn't. He's had moments, but nothing really where he's grabbed hold of the game, and I just feel that a player of his quality, having a bit of free rein in that middle of the park, he should be getting control of this game more.
It's his first Arsenal start today since pre-Christmas, when he lined up against his former club Crystal Palace in the League Cup. Come back to that in a minute. Bishop shoots to Pompey from the edge of the box, and the ball deviates behind for a Portsmouth corner, and they've had a few of these in the last few minutes.
Yeah, they have. They've started to put a bit more pressure on Arsenal. They've been a little bit more adventurous. Of course, they've got nothing to lose. They know they've got to make up 2-goal deficit. They need to put pressure on. Arsenal are also getting ready to make 3 substitutions.
It's a short one from Portsmouth from that corner, but it was swiftly read, and now all of a sudden Arsenal are on the charge, and Madueke is screaming for it on the opposite side of the pitch. The far right-hand side, is that ball coming his way? It is. Lifted over the head of Ogilvie. Madueke, a couple of yards outside the penalty area, onto his left foot. Madueke tees it off for Mikel Moreno. Moreno into the box, and then the shot from Jesus. No, he feigns. He then comes back in field, Jesus. Moreno's gone over to offer a bit of support. Arsenal now outside of Pompey's penalty area, but they got it with Lewis Skelly. Curls it into the middle and caught by Bursic.
Yeah, Bursic does well. Good ball in the box. He comes out and just commands an area. Not under any real threat, but he has to be off his line quick.
Segacic fouled by Ben White. Looked like he carried that ball too far ahead of him there, Segacic, inside Arsenal's half, but maybe that deceived White as well, and because White has fouled Segacic for the second time in the last couple of minutes, he's now been cautioned.
I think he's still annoyed with that nutmeg.
Well, you would be, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Right, here comes the Arsenal changes, the trio of Arsenal changes. I can see Kai Havertz, Martin Ødegaard and Jurriën Timber down there. So they're going to be the 3 Arsenal players that are coming on. Gabriel Jesus is trudging off towards this near side, so is Ben White. And in the meantime, we're going to West Ham QPR. Aaron.
Just gone half-time here. West Ham United 1, QPR 0. Crescencio Somerville burying from the left side of the area. Pablo doing so well to win the ball back way up the pitch, able to feed him Magassa, who went left for Somerville, who buried the ball past Joe Walsh. At half-time, it is West Ham 1, QPR 0.
And after this Portsmouth free kick, we're going to go to the Scottish Premiership game that got underway at 2 o'clock, so the same time as this one between Dundee and Hearts. Kai Havertz back in an Arsenal shirt for the first time since the opening day of the season. He's on. Free kick, Segacic towards that far post, went through everybody, including Ogilvie, with his shaved head, the Portsmouth defender who was the closest to it, and it's behind for a goal kick. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, it's getting to that point in the game where Portsmouth really just have to start taking massive risks, try and get something in this game, trying to get back in it, back to 1-goal deficit, then anything can happen. So they're going to have to start to commit players forward, take risks, and that could certainly open up the game for Arsenal to really finish this off.
20 minutes of the game to play, 1-3 the scoreline in Arsenal's favour. Havertz, Ødegaard and Timber are on for White, Waneri and Jesus. And let's go to that game between Dundee and Hearts. Kenny Crawford.
65 minutes gone, still Dundee 0, 10-man Hearts 1, and so far the hosts haven't done too much to hurt the visitors despite their one-man advantage in this second half. Ashley Hay with a header over, about the best chance Dundee have had since the break, but they have just brought on Simon Murray, who's normally their captain, came back from suspension onto the bench today, and he can normally be a thorn in the side of certain teams, so we'll see if that's the case against Hearts today. Dundee 0, Hearts 1.
Aberdeen against Rangers. Thanks, Kenny. Aberdeen against Rangers to come from 4:30 today, so we'll keep you updated with that as Moreno tries to play the ball into Portsmouth's penalty area, intercepted by the sliding Franco Ume, and then Pack gets it up towards the halfway line for Portsmouth for Bishop, who plays a low left-footed pass out towards this left-hand side for Segacic, who's been marshalled by Timber, who's just come onto the pitch. Timber wins it, Havertz takes it on, Madueke going on, Havertz has found him, Madueke into the box on the right-hand side, right-footed shot, deflected behind. It's a corner. That's a really good bit of defending from Regan Paul, because Noddy Madueke had the goal gaping for a potential Arsenal fourth.
Yeah, another opportunity for Arsenal. I think Madueke, again, just all he thinks about is himself having a shot on goal. That sort of acute angle, looks to try and beat the defender. All he does is get his head down, doesn't really look up. There's an opportunity to play the ball square, and it's a simple tap in. Again, Arsenal could have easily have run away with this game. Just some poor decision making in the final third.
Liverpool against Barnsley in the third round of the FA Cup tomorrow night for you. The coverage will begin from 7 o'clock. And of course the FA Cup fourth round draw as well, which will be live on 5 Live before that. Corner for Arsenal, in towards that near post, Martinelli, he's got a hat-trick. Another header from Gabriel Martinelli. It was too powerful for Bursic, and Martinelli, no FA Cup goal before today, but an FA Cup hat-trick this afternoon. And Arsenal now with a 4-1 lead at Portsmouth, and they are marching into the fourth round of the competition.
It's a copyright, isn't it? It's a copyright from the first half. The delivery in the box is an excellent ball, a lot of pace, whipped in, real intent, and I tell you what, Martinelli does so well again. All he needs to do really is time his run perfectly, which he does, gets the slightest of touches. The goalkeeper almost keeps it out, but instead it flies into the roof of the net. And Portsmouth have been undone once again from a set play.
Well, I think John Messina will be bitterly disappointed that 3 of the 4 Arsenal goals have come from Arsenal corners. I mean, we know how good the Gunners can be from their set pieces, but even that aside, that he will not want that to be the dividing difference today.
Oh, well, it has been, hasn't it? I mean, the biggest difference in today's performance is really Arsenal being so ruthless at set plays. Portsmouth have really struggled to deal with it. I mean, we see it time and time again in the Premier League. Teams struggle to deal with Arsenal's ability to cause mayhem at set plays. And today, Arsenal have just capitalised. 3 set plays, 3 goals. I mean, obviously they've had a few more, but they've just been so ruthless and so dangerous in those situations.
Well, you have to say, I do not think there is a way back now for Championship side Portsmouth this afternoon. 4-1 the scoreline. There was actually an FA Cup quarter-final game here 22 years ago that finished Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 5. And there's a bit of an iconic image actually of Thierry Henry after the game, who scored a couple of goals in that game, the Arsenal legendary forward, wearing a Portsmouth shirt, applauding the Fratton end who were serenading Thierry Henry because he'd given such a masterful display on that particular evening. I don't think they're going to be serenading Gabriel Martinelli today, the Pompey fans.
No, I don't think there will be. No, I mean, look, I think he's had a good game. Like I said before, he could have easily had a hat-trick earlier on, He had numerous chances. I think he could have easily had minimum 4, if not 5 goals today.
Even before today, he was their top scorer in cup competitions, Gabriel Martinelli, this season. He's now got 8 goals in 8 games in cup games. And here come Arsenal again. Lewis Skelly down the left-hand side. Martinelli on a hat-trick, lifting it in. It was just too heavy for Eza. Must have breezed the top of the England international's head. Picked up by Timber on the right-hand side. Havertz running his foot underneath the ball. Moreno, the flick from Timber. Madueke trying to trick his way past Ogilvie, who puts the boot in there, and behind it goes. Guess what? Arsenal corner.
Yeah, danger again for Portsmouth. They just look bewildered. They look like they don't know how to defend against it. There's a lot of finger pointing going on. There's a lot of players from Portsmouth in that near post area, and they're obviously facing towards the corner taker. They're obviously looking over their shoulder. They're glancing. They're looking for the movement, but there's very little movement from Portsmouth players. They need to step in the pass, prevent Arsenal from making those runs into those danger zones.
Right, what's going to happen from this latest Arsenal corner? Another one from Madueke across the edge of the 6-yard box. That time there's a Pompey head on it. It was John Swift who's just come on for Adrian Segacic, the former West Bromwich Albion midfielder, who heads it away and out to the opposite side, the far left, for an Arsenal throw.
Yeah, I think it was a slightly different free corner. This time it was hit with a bit more pace, a bit more height, into right in the middle of the 6-yard box. Gabriel's the one that tries to go on the end of it. I think he's actually he's collided with one of the Portsmouth players. He's been rubbing his face quite a bit, and now he's actually coming off as well.
Yeah, I think Mikel Arteta might have been planning on making that change anyway, but Gabriel's coming off, and we are going to see again 16-year-old Marley Salmon for only his second senior appearance for Arsenal, having made his debut in the Champions League against Club Brugge in December. We are going to the Swansea.com stadium next. Laura Kenyon.
Swansea 1, West Brom 0. The home side finally get a breakthrough in this all championship tie. Ji Sang-om with a great finish on the far side edge of the box, right-footed shot across goal, and Swansea boss Vitor Matos, it's his first experience at the FA Cup as a manager. He'll be so pleased with that one. Swansea 1, West Brom 0.
Thanks, Laura. Imagine that, 16 years old, and you're playing for, you're not just playing senior football, you're playing senior football for who are the best team right now in the country.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It just shows you the talent that Arsenal produce at their academies, to be able to give them opportunities as well. You've got to give Mikel Arteta a lot of credit for trusting these young players coming through and giving them opportunities in the first team.
He's in at the right back position at the moment, Marley Salmon, as the ball down the other end of the pitch is with Jordan Williams, another of the Pompey substitutes from a moment ago, and he heads the ball back to Joe Bursick. Where are we going next here on 5 Live on this FA Cup third round afternoon? We are going to Adam Cottier at Sheffield United Mansfield.
Sheffield United 1, Mansfield 3 here. The League One sides extend their advantage to 2. Lucas Akins with a right foot shot in the penalty area after Rhys Holtz, who's been their main protagonist here with their attacking play, had run down the right hand side and set up the opportunity. Mansfield of League One heading for round 4 with a 3-1 lead at Sheffield United.
And for the first time in almost 2 decades, if they are to do that today, Mansfield. Here is the 16-year-old Marley Salmon, back to Norgard inside his own half and all the way back to goalkeeper Kepa, and it feels, Mark Schwarzer, a long time ago now since Colby Bishop, the Portsmouth striker, beat Kepa Arrizabalaga to give Portsmouth the lead in this cup tie.
Yeah, it was. 3rd minute of this game, so it was a long time ago.
Here's Devlin shooting right-footed. That was the test for Kepa. Just bouncing to his left-hand side, the Arsenal goalkeeper in all green pushes it away for a Portsmouth corner.
I think it's a pretty regular save from Kepa. Does well, gets enough on it, parries it out. It's going to be a corner, decent shot from a decent angle as well. So Portsmouth, obviously, not given up just quite yet.
No, and the spirit of their manager, John Messino, does have a bit of an experience himself of giant killing. He was in the Stevenage team that beat Newcastle a few years ago. In comes the corner, and it is headed away by Arsenal, picked up by Williams, who is 20 yards from outside the penalty area, forces it to Ogilvie via a deflection off the legs of Madueke, and Ogilvie runs into Marley Salmon, slides in at his feet, throw to Portsmouth on the left, but they're 4-1 down, and we're inside the final 12 minutes of this third round game. Ogilvie gets it back off Bishop, comes to the edge of the box, Swift shoots right-footed, and he drags it wide, a few yards wide. of the right-hand post of Kepa Arrizabalaga. So let's get some team news from the game that is getting underway at 4:30 in the FA Cup this afternoon. Manchester United against Brighton and Hove Albion. Lee Blakeman's at Old Trafford.
Manchester United make 3 changes from the team that started at Burnley. Heaven and Casemiro drop to the bench. Shaw's not in the squad. Mainu, Yoro and Mason Mount come in. So shape-wise, we'll wait and see what that all means. Brighton changed 6 with Jason Steele starting in goal and Danny Welbeck coming in to start against his former club up top.
Probably I'm stealing one of Lee's lines when I give this stat, but that game today, Brighton at Manchester United, is the only third round tie this year that is a previous final in the FA Cup.
There you go, interesting, I wouldn't have even known that.
One ball forward from Bursic, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, one by Timber, who's gone into that central position in Arsenal's defence. Jurriën Timber, here's Williams, trying to slalom his way through Arsenal's midfield, the Portsmouth right back, but he fell short of room, and Madueke picks it up on the near right hand side for Arsenal. For Ødegaard, one of the Arsenal changes in this game, and that's the point, isn't it? They're 4-1 up, Mark Schwarzer, and yet they're bringing on players like Martin Ødegaard into the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that shows you the quality and the depth that they have. Obviously, they've been able to leave Declan Rice and Saka on the bench. I think that's probably a big relief for Mikel Arteta. You know, being comfortable, not having to bring them on to try and get themselves in a game or win a game. They can actually comfortably go through to the next round, which looks like what's going to happen here.
It is the only trophy that Mikel Arteta has won since he took over as Arsenal head coach, the FA Cup in 2020. And Arsenal attacking down this left-hand side, ball in field for Martinelli, 20 yards outside Portsmouth's penalty area. The hat-trick hero Gabriel Martinelli today. Infield for Ødegaard, to the right-hand side for Madueke with a couple of step-overs. And back to Ødegaard again. And we're going to Norwich Walsall, Paul Scott.
Because Norwich are surely heading for the 4th round. They lead League 2 Walsall by 3-0. A third goal 3 minutes into the second half. Maciej Jurasek with the cross. A wonderful flick from Anis Ben Slimani. And there was Jovan Makama to grab his second of the afternoon. It's Norwich 3, Walsall 0.
And we'll be going to Swansea West Brom in just a moment, but an Arsenal attack led by Ødegaard. Eza shoots, it was heading for the bottom corner. Bursic wasn't at full stretch, perhaps 60% capacity, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, as he pushes it away with his white and blue gloves, and behind it goes for a corner to Arsenal. And an Arsenal change incoming as well, another one. Martin Zubimendi off the bench, and Martinelli getting a great reception from the Arsenal fans as he departs with his 3 goals. What a classy performance from him today.
Yeah, it has been. He's done really well. He's obviously got himself in the right position a couple of times on set plays. Did really, really well. Like I said in the commentary, could have easily scored 4, if not 5 goals today. That's how many opportunities he's had, and big opportunities. We're not talking half chances. We're talking huge chances where normally 80% of the time, 90% of the time, he's going to score.
So 4-1 the lead for Arsenal, who were 1-0 down in this cup game, but look surely now like a place in the 4th round of the FA Cup is theirs. There's another corner from Madueke in towards that near post. It's headed away, so we are going to Swansea West Brom now. Laura Kenyon.
We're at Swansea 1, West Brom 1, the away side under the tenure of an interim head coach. They level things up against the run of play, bundled in on the goal line. Josh Maja gets the final touch. Instant response from the visitors. Game on, it's 1-1.
Thank you, Laura. There's an issue here for Franco Ume, who's gone chasing after a ball in the left channel. The former Crystal Palace youngster, nobody around him, and he's pulled up with what clearly looks, well, to me, like a hamstring issue.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? He's rolling around. Oh, he's off the pitch. The game's stopped. A couple of Arsenal players were able to make sure he's okay. It looks like first thoughts are, yeah, you're right, like he's done his hamstring.
Yeah. And that is the problem that has kept Franco Ume out since he arrived at the football club in the summer from Crystal Palace. So this is a real shame for the young Irishman.
Yeah, massively disappointing, isn't it? I mean, he's come on, he's made an impact. He's been a threat on the ball for Portsmouth. He's worked really, really hard. It's unfortunate for him. It looks like he's in quite a lot of pain.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to continue, and Portsmouth actually have used up all of their subs, so they are going to have to play the final 7 minutes of this game. already beleaguered and now depleted in terms of numbers as well. 4-1 down against Arsenal, who have got the ball, moving it around inside Portsmouth's penalty area, right on the edge of it with Eze, and back with Ødegaard. It almost feels like a training game now for Arsenal. Ødegaard trying to get it back to Eze again. That was deflected back into the Norwegian's path, who is moving from left to right across the edge of Pompey's penalty area. Gives it to Madueke, gets it back again, then flicks it into Havertz's pass. His shot's blocked. Eze at the back post. Devlin has gone careering into Eze and got a bit of the ball. It's going to be an Arsenal corner. But before the Arsenal corner, we're going back to Bramall Lane. Adam Cottier.
Mansfield have a 4-1 lead. Rhys Oates, who's played immaculately here today, has scored an immaculate goal, weaving his way into the box and just clipping it past Adam Davis in the Sheffield United goal. Mansfield heading for round 4 for the first time since 2008. They have a 4-1 lead here.
Well, what a result that is for Mansfield this afternoon, but a gut-wrenching outcome for Chris Wilder's Blades. Some reaction to that a little later on, I'm sure, on 5 Live. 6:06 to come as well from 5 o'clock tonight with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. We'll let you know when the lines are open a little later for you to call. Arsenal corner, 4-1 the lead in towards the near post, and Bursic managing to just shovel it behind the Portsmouth goalkeeper for another Arsenal corner.
Yeah, another real threat, isn't it? I mean, that near post ball weighted perfectly, this time from Eze from the right-hand side as he whips that ball into that near-post area. Arsenal making a late run-in, causing all sorts of problems.
And in his first FA Cup appearance since scoring the winning goal in the final in May, it's Eze again with the corner towards that near post. The header, which was secondly away by Chaplin after initially being won by Bishop, the Portsmouth forward, at the near post. And Arsenal pick it up and they go back to Kepa, and we are inside the final 5 minutes. And it is Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 4, and Portsmouth now with 10 men because of the injury to Ume, and all the subs have been utilised by John Messino, are having to dig very deep here as Ødegaard clips it over the top looking for Havertz. Ogilvie with Havertz on his shoulder wins the header, the Portsmouth defender, and Swift picks it up on this near side, the near left. Ogilvie, and now all the way back to goalkeeper Bursic.
Yeah, it's a shame for Portsmouth. They've lost a player through injury, they've made their subs, now they're down to 10 men. It's a real shame that they end this game like this. Hopefully they can hold on and not concede any more goals, because I don't think they deserve to be really thumped. I think they've put in a really good effort today. They've caused Arsenal lots of problems at various times in this game. Obviously started the game incredibly well, and it would be a little bit disheartening for them to concede a few more between now and the end of the game.
And credit to the Portsmouth fans, the vast bulk of them are still inside this stadium, inside the final few minutes, despite the fact their team are going to be exiting the FA Cup on this Sunday afternoon here at Fratton Park, which actually, I don't know if you know this, Mark, it's actually built in a suburb of Portsmouth called Milton, and Fratton is just up the road from here. But when the stadium was built at the end of the 1800s, because they were worried that people wouldn't come to the stadium because it wasn't close enough to Fratton train station, they called it Fratton Park rather than Milton Park. So it was a deceptive game from those who own the club.
There you go. I had no idea. Thank you.
At 4-1, that is the time to roll out the stats like that.
Well, the game has slowed right down, hasn't it? I mean, obviously Portsmouth are down, one player to the less against Arsenal. Arsenal dominating, cruising to victory. So the game has dropped in tempo a little bit.
The irony being, it is very close, Fratton Park to Fratton train station. I mean, you can walk from one to the other in probably less than 10 minutes. So maybe they were a little lazier back then. Swift lifting it forward, Bishop giving chase for Pompey. Kepa comes to the edge of his penalty area. He cleans up for Arsenal. Norwich, Walsall, another goal with you, Paul Scott.
Another goal for Norwich, another goal for Jovan Makama. The Canaries have 4. Makama has his hat-trick. A well-worked move down the left-hand side. Christening laid it on a plate. A cool finish into the bottom corner. The Canaries flying into round 4. They lead Walsall 4-0.
Here's Ødegaard for Arsenal, 15 yards outside Pompey's penalty area. Arsenal have got 4 here as well. Madueke, who did miss a penalty, goes past Williams. He might want another penalty here. He's not going to get one, waved away by referee Tony Harrington.
Yeah, it's always a danger, isn't it? Williams gets beaten for pace. Madueke just knocks the ball past him and he zooms past him. And Williams, I'm not sure. I don't. There's not enough in that. Definitely not for a penalty. But just have to be a little bit careful. He's just got that pace and the ability to drop a shoulder and knock it past you.
One of the FA Cup stories of today is at Sheffield United Mansfield. Adam Cottier.
Sheffield United have got one back here, so Sheffield United 2, Mansfield 4. It's Patrick Bamford. This is potentially his final game of a short-term contract. He's poked in from close range. It's Sheffield United 2, Mansfield 4.
And Leeds United, if you were with us earlier today on 5 Live from the BBC, coming from behind to beat Derby County, so that's another Premier League side that will be with Arsenal, it seems, in round 4. The draw will be live on 5 Live tomorrow night from 6:30. We've got live European Championship Cup rugby to come on 5 Live Sports Extra later today, 5:15, with Saracens against Toulouse. But Mark Schwarzer into the final 60 seconds before we see how many extra minutes are going to be added, and it is at the moment feels like a death by 1,000 paper cuts for Portsmouth.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation to be in. You're down to 10 men, you're 4-1 down, you're up against it. Obviously there's no way back in. The game's just about finished, and Arsenal are just controlling the tempo.
And looking for more. Ødegaard collects it just outside the box, slips it into the right for Havertz. Havertz with the back heel. Madueke on the angle, left-footed, curls it up towards the far post. He's looking for Eze. The header away, and then the shot from distance from Zubimendi is well wide of the post.
Yeah, he just completely scuffs it, doesn't he, Zubimendi? Hits across it, doesn't really get the connection on it, and it just sort of floats and spins out for a goal kick.
So with Fratton Park still offering its audible encouragement, 3 minutes of stoppage time indicated by the 4th official, Lee Dougherty, down below us. And Arsenal will in many ways be pleased that not only the fact that they've won this game, but coming from behind to win it, and in the way that it's finishing without doubt, because, Mark, beyond today, and it's the 11th of January today, Arsenal have still got 6 fixtures to play in the month, in January, 6.
Well, that's what it comes, with success, with being in every competition. That's what happens. You play loads of games. They're in the hunt for every trophy still, and that's what it was all about. Arsenal want to be in the hunt for every trophy.
And for Portsmouth, their next game is against the team at the very foot of the Championship table. They are going to Sheffield Wednesday next week. Martin Ødegaard feeding it through, and the ball across from the left-hand side, out of the reach of everybody by quite a distance, actually, and it is a goal kick, and we've got a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, it's Miko Moreno's ball across the face. He looks at it first time. It's the right idea. He just gets too good of a connection and too much pace on the ball, and it just zooms across the 6-yard box and out for a goal kick. But again, Arsenal, the tempo obviously has dropped, and Arsenal, only team that looks like they might score is Arsenal going forward. They're in total control at the moment. For Portsmouth, it's more about trying to damage limitation, trying to hold on between now and the final whistle.
Well, this feels like it's a brighter year, 2026, for Arsenal. They've had some rather bleak FA Cup exits in recent years since they won the competition in 2020, out in the 3rd round and the 4th round, and have not gone any further in any year since then. And we're going back to Bramall Lane again, Adam Cottier.
This game wasn't over. Sheffield United 3, Mansfield 4 now. An own goal by the Mansfield defender, Deji Ojalaja, in the penalty area, stretching. He sends a attempted clearance in off the underside of the crossbar, and it is Sheffield United 3, Mansfield 4. This is a thrilling game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. A blockbuster finish in store at Bramall Lane. And remember, that game and all the other games in the FA Cup that are happening right now got underway half an hour later than this one, so there is still a chunky 30 minutes to play in that game at Bramall Lane. That could go anywhere. This is only going in one direction, Arsenal's way, 4-1 up at Portsmouth, as Ødegaard plays the ball to the left for Eze, who dribbles up to the edge of Portsmouth's penalty area. Final few seconds of the game, Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 4 the scoreline. It's back with Ødegaard as well. Ødegaard's cross, Havertz on the chest, shoots left-footed, blocked by Ogilvie. Portsmouth clear, and there is the full-time whistle, and Arsenal are into the 4th round of the FA Cup. They survived a very early scare though to get here, behind from Colby Bishop's goal for Portsmouth after just 3 minutes, which had the Championship side in front. But normal order swiftly resumed. The own goal from Dizelle for 1-1, and then the Gabriel Martinelli goal. which made it 2-1. That was the scoreline at half-time. Madueke missed a penalty, but Martinelli got 2 more in the second half to ensure that this is a relatively routine afternoon on the south coast in the pouring rain in the end for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal.
It was a tough one for Arsenal, it really was. I mean, a 4-1, I'm not going to say it's flattering, but they were the dominating side in the end, but Portsmouth gave it a real go. Their start was unbelievable from Portsmouth, put them under a lot of pressure. Yeah, they found themselves 2-1 down, and then all of a sudden could have easily been 3-1 down, but at half-time they were still in this game. Second half, though, Arsenal just seemed to take the sting out of the game. They controlled the pace of it, and then the extra quality just shone through. And of course, set plays was the big killer for Portsmouth today.
And next for Arsenal, a League Cup semi-final, first leg at Chelsea on Wednesday.
Well, there's only one winner, isn't there? No, I mean, look, it's going to be a big game, isn't it? That's what you want. You want the big teams to be playing against each other. I'm really looking forward to it. Arsenal are a formidable side. They're the most consistent side in the country at the moment. They deserve to be at the top of the table. They are reasonably comfortable at the moment. They're in every competition that's available. They're doing so well in the Champions League as well. So it sets up for a really, really interesting and exciting game against Chelsea.
Well, the Portsmouth players are off on a mini lap of honour, and lots of the Pompey fans have hung around inside Fratton Park to give them their dues. There was a flicker of a cup upset in the early minutes at Fratton Park this afternoon, but Portsmouth's wait is going to go on beyond 68 years for a win over Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta's team are cruising into the 4th round of the Cup, and their name will be in the hat tomorrow night for the live FA Cup 4th round draw, which you can hear here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester United against Brighton to come from 4:30. We'll keep you updated with everything else that's happening in the concluding minutes of those other FA Cup 3rd round games this afternoon. But it's a Gabriel Martinelli hat-trick, and it has finished Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 4.
Hearts lead Dundee by 1-0. They're down to 10. There are 3 minutes of stoppage time at Dens Park. They've played 1. We'll go there shortly. If you were in goal against this Arsenal team, Mark, how would you want your defensive setup at corners to be?
What I'd want is, of course, you need to set up so that you've got key players in the right area. Arsenal are trying to hit that near post area. So when you've got that person in that near post area, he's got to be one of your better headers to be able to attack the ball. If he attacks the ball, there's no one else got a chance of getting it. They've also got to block the runs of Arsenal. For me, Arsenal's run into those areas is too easy. They're uncontested a lot of the times. Portsmouth set up in this instance today with a lot of players in that near post area. They're all kind of looking over their shoulder, a little bit flat-footed. Arsenal have got the run, and it's really difficult to then defend against a side that always has the run on you like that. They have a bit of an extra pace on their run, but also have a chance to then get more height on their challenge. And I think what I would want is I want my players possibly to be standing out of position a little bit and making the run towards the near post, so they're also in the movement.
Would you clear some of your own defenders out of the 6-yard box to give the defenders that were man for man on Arsenal's players running to the near post the opportunity to run with them and not get stuck in traffic?
No, not necessarily, because what I want is you're doing like a partial zonal marking, because you've got guys in that zonal area, in those holes, in those pockets. I'd have one in the 6-yard box, one in the as in the middle of the goal, but also one towards the near post, if not 2. And they're the ones that have got to make sure that they win the ball. Everyone else basically needs to either pick up or block runs. You've got to make it the most difficult path for Arsenal players to get to the ball, and then everyone's got to do their job. Everyone's got to be on it. And that's the problem at times. I think there are too many people turning their heads, looking for runs. What's happening next? You concede one, all of a sudden there is a sense of absolute chaos and no understanding of who's supposed to be picking up whom. How is he getting on a free header?
What's your job in all of that as the goal? I mean, obviously to keep the ball out of the net. I know that, but I have some goalkeepers tell me that there are too many goalkeepers who are getting drawn towards the ball or getting caught under the ball.
Yeah, there are those times, of course. It's about picking and understanding which balls you need to get. If I'm the goalkeeper and I can come and reach the ball in the 6-yard box, then I need to come and take it, because if I catch it, that eliminates all the danger immediately. It's dead. It's done. I need my teammates around me to then help shield me. I'm not a fan of what goalkeepers do today, where they have an attacker on them and they're left to deal with them themselves. I'm not a fan of that. You're preoccupied, you're distracted, you're slightly nudged, you're slightly held back. Even if it's a split second, that can cost you. And I've seen it time and time again. I would have a defender between me and the attacker, and I'd get him to create space for me. And when I say that, as the guy is lining up to hit the ball, as he runs up to strike the ball, move him in a direction. I don't care where you move him. And that creates space for me, and all I need to do is worry about my job. Then it's about, look, all that work against Arsenal, side that is so heavily drilled towards set plays, a lot of that work is done on the training field, understanding of what sort of plays they play. How are we going to deal with it? What plays we're going to set up? What paths do we need to block? Who are the key instigators in those runs? And then we need to make sure their paths are blocked and made more difficult to reach. And then you need players who are in those holes to make sure if that ball comes in your zone, you're winning it. At all costs, you're winning it. You also are stepping across someone when they're making a run towards the near post. Martinelli made 3 runs today, uncontested, into that near post area. Uncontested the whole time. And that shouldn't happen.